It's Trey Styles on the beat.
Hey, what is up, you guys? Cheers to another week in the NFL. As you can see, we are back. We were a little bit delayed, you guys. That's my fault. I do apologize for not looking more at the time. We should have been on here a little while ago, but here we are now. If you guys are able to wait, you're locked in. We appreciate your support. As always, I am back again with my homie, Notty, aka James. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you? You straight? You all right?
I'm straight. I'm not gonna complain. How was your weekend?
My weekend was it was okay. It was okay.
It was
Got a
okay.
little cold. It was cold and rainy all weekend.
I hate those days.
Right.
I don't do cold or rain, so it's like it's cold and raining. I'm like, nope, I'll be inside.
But you're in New York though, so
It don't matter.
it's cold all the time.
But no, not all the time. It's getting chillier now. Like earlier, it was nice, but now it's chilly again. But you guys, we're gonna jump right in, okay? Cowboys lost their first game of the season at home, specifically, should I say? And they lost to Arizona, who coming into this game, I believe their record was 2-5. They are now 3-5 after they took down the Cowboys. You watched this game. We're texting about it. What did you think about Arizona's first?
Arizona got a quarterback dilemma on their hand. Do you stick with Jacoby Brissett, who's been playing very well as of recent, or do you go back to Kyler Murray, who you paid a whole bunch of money to? It's going to be a decision that, depending on what the coach comes up with, you can lose the locker room over a decision like this. But with that being said,
everybody wants to win, though. Like I think, you want to win,
You would think everybody want to win, and I hope that the Arizona Cardinals want to win, because those guys on defense, man, they play lights out tonight. You talking about Michael Wilson Jr. out there causing records, causing the fumble. Buda Baker out there balling. Calais Campbell closing the game down, shutting it down. You saw Sweat. He kept pressure on Dak all night. And then the offense, Jacoby Brissett, he just did what he needed to do. He didn't turn the ball over
at all. He wasn't even. Was he even sacked? I don't think so. Maybe once.
He was sacked. He was sacked a few times. David Clowney got in there a couple of times. But the thing that is going to be eye-opening is with Jacoby Brissett, Marvin Harrison becomes a player. With Kyler Murray, for whatever reason, he struggles getting the ball to the wideout. He's a guy who, Trey McBride would love him, because Kyler Murray throws to Trey McBride, or he dumps it down to the running back. But he struggles to get it to the outside guys. And Jacoby Brissett, we saw a play to Michael Wilson, 50 yards pass up the field. You saw Marvin Harrison, he was getting off early. So, it's a tough decision. I mean, I don't even think it's a tough decision, but when you factor in the amount of money that you paid Kyler to be your franchise quarterback, that's the thing that's going to make it a tough decision. But the Arizona Cardinals, they played well tonight, and they didn't find a way to lose it.
Well, the thing is, like you said, Jacoby has been playing well. It hasn't resulted in wins, though. And, they still measure you by wins and losses. That's what it goes by. I said, well, he's playing great, but they still lost. They had 40 points, but they lost, so it always goes back to, winning or losing. Although he does look better in this offense, and the offense is playing better, with him as the starting QB. But when I think about, I can't forget your history. You know, like I think about his history, you know, in its entirety. I'm like, there's a reason why he's been on, I believe, what, 6 different teams, you know, throughout the years. So,
Right.
like, if you were the guy, like, I don't think you would have been bounced around like that from multiple, you know, to multiple different franchises. You know, maybe this could be the franchise for him, you know, the right coach for him, or, you know, the right, you know, offensive coordinator, and he could really flourish, you know, who knows? But I'm like, because they won this one game and because they were still losing with him, I'm just like, who did I haven't seen enough, I don't think, for me to be like, okay, you know what, forget Kyler. And if I'm an owner and I'm thinking as an owner, I pay a lot of money for Kyler. You know what I mean? And I'm glad the offense looks better, but it hasn't still resulted in wins. So I haven't seen enough to say, let me just eat this money and you have a seat. What would you do if you're the coach? What would you do? You're back, you know, after this win, you're going back to the drawing board, you're looking at the film. What do you do?
It's what have you done for me lately? And the
Okay.
last thing I saw was what I saw tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I would say this. Sometimes Jacoby Brissett, he's back up to Tom Brady. He's not better than Tom Brady. He's been a backup to some really good quarterbacks. But in this situation, he's just better than the guy that they got. It's not his fault that they paid Kyler Murray a buttload of money. He's better. He's playing better anyway. So
Why did Kyler and their offense look so much better last season as opposed to this season? What do you think is the difference?
Did they look so much better last season?
They did. It was a little bit more explosive. It looked, like to me. I mean, obviously they weren't, you know, no, the most winningest team, no. But the offense did look better, and specifically Kyle looked better to me than what I've seen this season.
Well, I mean, Trey McBride caught a buttload of balls, and James Conner running lights out the ball. They played okay. They were losing a bunch of games still. With Kyler Murray playing probably at his best, and it was average at best. So I just think right now you ride the hot hand. Now the coach can use the excuse, Kyler. You got a foot injury. Let's give you another week. Let's see if we can get you to be 100%. We're gonna give you another week. We're gonna let Brissett go. You know, we'll let you be the backup. You the emergency guy. If something happens, we'll bring you in. Let me see Brissett for another week. And
I can get with that.
Right, until Brissett stops performing well. But if Brissett continues to perform well, you got to go with the high hand.
Okay, so we're gonna switch it back over to the Cowboys really quickly, because as usual, Jerry Jones, you gotta love Jerry, I guess. Like he's so annoying to me, but you know what? He always saying something that has you wondering what's gonna happen. And we saw, you know, tonight, obviously the offense was not enough tonight for, you know, to overcome the defensive struggles. But for me tonight, watching this game, offense to me let the defense down. Like defense was trying tonight, you know, like that's how they got their first 7 points, you know, like through the defense. And I know that Arizona's defense made it more challenging for Dak tonight, but it's not going to be. It's going to go back and forth, right? It's been the offense that's been obviously delivering, and the defense letting them down. But tonight, the defense they were decent. I mean, they weren't like the best, you know, defense that we've ever seen, no. But they were better than what they have been, you know, in previous games. I will give them that much, you know. But tonight, Dak couldn't do it. So I'm going to play this soundbite really quickly. Jerry Jones, trade deadline, I believe, today Eastern time, 4:00. And Jerry Jones, as usual, is always throwing out little crumbs for us to wonder and ponder, like, what's going to happen next in Dallas?
The thing that's got me most excited about the defense getting better, outside of the new things the defense may try, is Overshown coming back.
A lot of action going on right now in terms of trading, and we certainly have made a trade, and we may make a couple of more trades before that deadline.
So you may make a couple of trades before the trade deadline?
Well, we've made one.
All right, you've made one. What was that for?
And we possibly could make 2 more, and I'm going to wait and let you read about that.
Okay.
When we send the papers in tomorrow.
Okay. So he's already made a trade.
Well, that's a statement he made.
And then he's got a couple of more coming tomorrow.
Now, I'm not for sure because the other guys haven't made the other end of the trade on the other two.
So what are you trying to say?
Somebody out there about to be a Cowboy. That's all we need to know.
He always so animated. I love it. But with that being said, who would you like to see become a Cowboy?
Nobody.
Sometimes nobody really.
Nobody.
No pass rusher. Nobody.
Why would somebody want to go to that dumpster fire? No. Jerry just sat there and lied through his teeth, and everybody keep buying the lies that Jerry tells. I don't understand. Then,
so you think he's not making no moves? He just saying that.
He covered up his track. First of all, if you listen to what Jerry just said, he said we already made one trade and we got two trades coming down the pipe.
But they didn't sign yet.
Okay, the one trade he already made, that's the Michael Parsons trade. They were talking about like he already got some that ain't nobody know about. No, if he already had made a new trade, everybody would know about the new trade that he's made. Okay, so he's talking about the Michael Parsons trade. He made that trade fine. I got two more trades. We'll talk about it tomorrow when it happens.
Well, he said that LT didn't sign yet.
Yes, exactly. So that means, Jerry, what you've done, you've offered a team a trade. You've offered two teams a trade. And they ain't got back with you, or they done told you, Jerry, we don't want to do no trade with you right now. But it sounds good to your constituents or the Cowboy Nation that you say, I'm trying. I got paperwork for two trades right now. Come on, Jerry. You know what,
Jerry? It's provocative. It gets the people going.
Exactly. He knows that Cowboy Nation are a bunch of suckers.
Oh my goodness! You sound like Stephen A. Smith now when it comes to Cowboys.
That's the truth. He knows they're a bunch of suckers, and he can sell them a dream. And when he sells them that dream, they're gonna keep going to the games, buying tickets. They're gonna pay for parking. They're gonna pay for concession. They're gonna pay for merchandise, and they're gonna keep putting money in Jerry's pocket.
Well, I mean, it is the most successful, the richest, franchise in the NFL. So he's doing that part. He's doing something right. What's up, Nasir? Sorry we started late. I saw your comment. Thank you for being patient and rocking out with us. Miles must be coming. Makes perfect sense.
No, it don't make perfect sense.
It does make perfect sense.
It makes no sense.
It won't happen, right? It won't happen. We know they're not going to let Myles Garrett go. But
it don't make sense.
If they did, would they be contenders? Would you be like, okay, this is the year? No,
because they're not good. They got more than one problem.
They do, but the offense is really, really good. It's the defense that needs like the most work to me.
We just saw them score 10. How many points they scored tonight? 17.
Yeah.
The offense is okay. Look, man.
But we're not gonna score 40 every night. Like that's a lot. Like
you at home on Monday Night Football.
And they wasn't at home. So what you saying? They should put up 40 every game, no matter if they're at home.
You gotta beat the Cardinals.
You said the Cardinals had a good defense though, even before the game started.
They did. Yeah, I've been telling people all year the Cardinals got a pretty good defense for whatever reason. Look, the Cowboys defense didn't look good tonight. They were going against a backup quarterback, and he still put up down there 30 points. The special teams did look good. The special teams is what blocked the punt and scored the touchdown. The defense got ran through, and the offense couldn't match up. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are not a good team. Like Bill Parcells once said, "You are what your record says you are."
Yeah,
they're not good.
So in the perfect world, if we woke up and we saw breaking news like Dallas Cowboys, Cleveland Browns, Myles Garrett is now officially a Cowboy, what would you think?
I would think that the Cleveland Browns are indeed what everybody say to y'all. They're the dumbest organization in professional football. If they go and trade Myles Garrett, that'll be the dumbest thing they've ever done.
There's no point in keeping him. Like you're not doing
anything. There is a point in keeping him. You just paid him. He's your best player, and he's the face of the franchise.
But aside from that, but you're not winning though.
But you build around. Look. If every team that was losing traded their best player, they'll never get better.
I don't see them building around him either. It's one thing if you're like, okay, we're going to pay you, we're going to keep you, and we're going to do what we need to do to make sure that this team is going to be successful going forward. I don't even see that. So if you're going to just keep him there and pay him, was it 43 million, 41 million, or whatever per year, and you're not going to build around him as the face of your franchise, then what you could get in return for him seems what I'm thinking about to really actually make your roster better. Because
the Cleveland Browns are building around Myles Garrett. It just doesn't happen overnight. When Myles Garrett signed that
contract, how long Myles Garrett been there?
He's been there for what, 7, 8 years? 7
how
years.
How long you building? What you doing?
I mean, they made the playoffs twice. The problem is, this is the problem with Cleveland, and we discussed this last week. Mm-hmm. They went out and got a franchise quarterback who was supposed to take them to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. He didn't pan out the way they thought, the way everybody thought he was going to pan out. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Deshaun Watson. That didn't work out. Okay, when Myles Garrett just signed this new contract with Cleveland, I think that Myles Garrett is an intelligent guy. What do you think?
Yeah, he seems like
okay. When he went into that and put that ink on that contract, he had to know we don't have a quarterback right now. Mm-hmm. We don't have a great wide receiver right now. The O-line is shabby, it's shaky at best. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna sign this contract anyway. He had to know that they weren't gonna be that good unless by some miracle Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett performed to a level that was higher than expectation. And then guess what? That didn't even happen. You got Dylan Gabriel in that quarterback right now. So no, he as an intelligent guy, he has to understand that it was a long shot for them to be a contender this year.
So do you think, I know they have, when he first, requested his trade, do you think there was a conversation that was had like, okay, we know you're not happy. We're willing to give you this amount. And, this upcoming draft, which is when Shador and Dylan them came in, we're going to get a QB. We're going to make sure we build around you. Like they could have told him those things and made him say, okay, you know what? I'll take the money, of course, and I'll stay here.
Come on, Myles Garrett is more intelligent than that. He's been around, like you said, 7 years. Before he signed that contract, he requested a trade. He wanted to be out. He wanted to go somewhere where they can win. Okay, then they offer him the most money paid by a non-quarterback in NFL history, and all of a sudden he got real happy to stay in Cleveland because he was
happy enough to stay, but happy to get this money, I think.
Yeah, but he seemed like he's one of those guys that he really wants to play with one franchise for his whole career. He got a lot of charity work that he does in Cleveland. He's got a fan base.
His wife is there.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I think he really wants to stay in Cleveland, and it would mean more to him to win in Cleveland than to go jump on somebody else's bandwagon and help.
That sounds like Damian Lillard to me. And I think about him in Portland.
Right, same way. Damian Lillard was happy to go back to Portland. I was like, really?
He was.
It would mean more to him to win in Portland than it would be if you just sent him to, let's say, Dallas or somewhere to win a championship.
I get the loyalty.
Right. KG was like that. Before he went to Boston, they had to beg him to accept that trade to Boston. Kevin McHale, he was like, look, we're not going to win here in Minnesota. We done. We didn't try. We ain't going to do it. They begged him to go to Boston. And so he went to Boston, but his loyalty, his heart was in Minnesota.
But Nasir says if they got Miles, it's an upgrade when compared to Micah.
I agree with that. Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in football.
So we're saying that he's just better than every single other person. Like
he's better than every single person that plays defense in the National Football League.
You going based off of what? Eye test, stats, what?
I'm going by all of it. Whatever metric you want to use. Myles Garrett is the best football in the National Football League. He was the best defensive player in football last year, and he's the best defensive player in football the year before that too.
I think if you're thinking about, for me, if I'm ownership and I have a chance to go to get Miles and or Micah, for me, it depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you have like a roster like Minnesota Vikings where you're built to win now and like get a championship now, then obviously like you go with Miles. But Miles is getting older. Micah's a lot younger.
He's not even 30 yet.
He's gonna return 30. Was it next month?
He'll be 30 in December.
Yeah,
December like 28th or something like that.
Yeah. So you know it's like, when players start to get 30, 31, dare I say 32, it's like you're looking like you're almost ancient. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, he's 31. Do we want to it's a young man's league.
I just saw Calais Campbell shut down the football game. He gotta be like 37, 38. Because players today, they have better nutrition, they have better workout regimens, they keep their bodies in better shape. So they play a little bit longer than the players of yesterday. But with that being said, shoot, man, I don't see Myles Garrett slowing down. He hasn't had a major injury.
Thank God, knock on wood.
Right. So, and I'm knock on his wood. Man, this guy he's different.
Hold on. Nasir said, respectfully disagree. Damian wanted to get out of Milwaukee. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I mean, you could tell he wasn't happy there. I don't think he was happy. I mean, I think he might have enjoyed like playing with Giannis, but he never to me had the same, I never saw the same like happiness or him at peace, like just the way his spirit looked. Like he always looked like he was a bit heavy to me and sad. And then after like the injury happened, and then, the blood clot, and then he came back, and then, the Achilles happened, and, he got traded, or was, they were like, okay, like we're waving him. I think he was like, yes, like I'm free, like, and I get to go back home. And he just seemed so much happier walking through, the arena and the locker room. I was like, oh, he's happy to be home.
Right. Well, he didn't want to leave Portland from the get-go. You know, but they kind of
obvious,
they were trying to do a youth movement, and they kind of pushed him out, and he agreed to it. But Dame was just when Milwaukee just bought him out, he could have went anywhere. He's a free agent.
I don't know how many teams wanted him though. Well, obviously he's injured right now.
You're trying to win. You're trying to win a championship. A team like Orlando, he could push them over the top.
I like Orlando.
Right. I mean, it's a couple teams out there that Dame could have pushed over the top. It was talked about. Miami wanted them. But Dame
Miami with Jimmy. Miami with Jimmy.
No, this is the new Miami. The new Miami. They had already got rid of Jimmy.
Yeah, you think Dame would have been better with Jimmy on that roster? Or with Jimmy without him on the roster?
I think it don't matter. I think Dame wanted to go home.
No, I mean in terms of him having success. Like, would he have had more if he did go to Miami? Would he have had more success with Jimmy on the roster or without him on the roster? I'm asking.
I mean, I would say probably with Jimmy on the roster. I would say that. Yeah, sure. He had more success with Jimmy.
What is up? What's up? How are you? How's it going? What's popping with you? What's up, you guys? Look, y'all coming through here. Y'all better be hitting that like button. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, that like and subscribe.
You better hit, about to say, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, look, my guy over here, he got mad channels up here. I just got my one channel, okay? I just have my Just Simply Sports, but he got One Man Cave, In the Game Network. I don't know if he also put on Raw Side of Things, maybe not.
Yeah, Built for This Radio Network. I'm on Twitch. I'm on IG. And also LinkedIn.
You want to follow you on LinkedIn?
And also Roku TV, Amazon Fire. So, got a lot of channels.
Oh, okay. You all over the place. See, hold on.
Right.
All right. We got to talk. I'm like, how do you get over there? Okay. We got to figure this out. But later on, we'll get back to that.
Right.
Well, look, I'm ready. Look, I told Dominique, whenever y'all are ready, like let's collab, let's do something. I've been down, Mel, okay? I've been down, been ready, been waiting. I don't know what's going on, but when you need me, shoot me a text. I'm there. You already know. But back to what we talking about.
Jared Jones line ass.
Look, One thing I will say, although Jerry does irritate me, I'm just like sometimes like you're doing too much. But I will say I'm curious tomorrow because I want to make sure I'm up watching Get Up because I know Adam Schefter's going to be on there. I'm curious to see. He said we got to wait till tomorrow, which is today.
Right.
I want to know what's going on. Now I'll make sure I message you like the trade is in.
Jerry did. Stephen A. and the old guys are silent. He said, "I'm gonna sell y'all TV show for tomorrow. I'm gonna make sure everybody watching," and that's what he did. Cause I get into Jerry. He might be the greatest salesman on the planet.
You think so? The greatest ever to do it?
Yes, he can sell anything. I'm convinced, and I know better. I know guys like Jerry. I understand what guys like Jerry are the reason why American citizens stay pissed off and stay complaining because somebody who looks like Jerry, who talks like Jerry, then sold them a bill of goods, and then they don't ever come through on it. And people keep believing these people. And I'm like, how can you keep believing somebody who's lied to you your whole life? It makes no sense to me.
Because sometimes when like you love someone or you love a franchise, like you really just want to believe. You're like, man, I really believe in this franchise. I believe in this coach. I believe in the QB. And I just know what's going to happen. If I just stay loyal long enough, it's going to happen. I think it feels like that for a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yeah, I get that for children, right? When I was a child, I was everything in Atlanta. I was diehard Falcon fan, diehard Braves fan. What's up, Bruce? What's happening?
What's up, Bruce?
I was a diehard Hawks fan. And then I got older and I realized these owners are hiding behind team names. And I don't have no loyalty to them. These people lie. These people do things that I disagree with. You want to lose on purpose so that you can hopefully get better in the future. Well, I don't have that losers type mentality. So I'm not around with this no more. I'm going to pull for the players. I'm going to pull for the good story that I want to hear. But as far as being loyal to a team or franchise, that's ridiculous to me.
But before we move on to the next topic, right? And y'all in the chat, drop your comments in as well. Let's just pretend that they do have a trade coming in, right? They do have two people coming in.
Okay.
Who do you think, or who would you like if you could pick anybody? Who do you think would help make them contenders?
Who would help the Dallas Cowboys be a contender? Well, they will have to get another edge rusher. So let's say, who would be good for them? The obvious names would be, of course, Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt. But
both just got paid.
Right. Oh, Trey Henderson. Now I like that, Bruce. Trey Henderson on the edge, and then they got to get a cornerback because they don't have a cornerback right now. Deron Bland is subpar. Yeah, right. And Travion Diggs, I don't know what happened to him. He's washed.
What's going on with him? Okay.
Right, he's washed. So they'll need another cornerback to go with that edge. So hell, if you want to stay in Cleveland, I might as well go ahead and get Denzel Ward from him too. If you're gonna take everything else from him, go ahead and rob the whole team.
So I'm curious. I look forward to seeing what's going across with the breaking news tomorrow. I really do. That's one thing I'll say about Jerry. He keeps us entertained. That's for sure.
Now I did read earlier that Asante Samuel Jr. is he's been cleared to play after he had spinal surgery. So maybe that'll be a move that they decide to make. Because I like Asante Samuel Jr. They have to bring him in to see if he still got it. But if he still got it, he's a good cornerback.
Hold on. Bruce said he is saving money for Stephon and Cardi B. Cardi B got her own coin. She ain't playing. She got that Offset money coming in. She got her own money coming in.
She got
Stephon money coming in.
Offset got that Cardi B money coming in. The course told her she got to give him 70%.
How much you said 70?
Yeah,
or you said 30?
She left it. No, I think 70 because she left the babies with Offset. So she got to pay, the child support and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
ain't no way she left all three of them kids with him. I do not believe that. You mean a couple of weekends?
I'm just telling you what I read. The The woman left the kids with Offset. Then while they were still married, she went down and got pregnant by another dude. The courts didn't take kindly to that. So they ruled in the favor of Offset. So there you have it.
That sounds like something that you read, like a hypothetical thing, because I do not see her giving away 3 kids to Offset. And Offset cheated left and right throughout that whole relationship. So I don't want to hear nothing about her moving on finally.
This is a matter of public knowledge. See, I see what's going on here, but we'll leave that down to the show.
Yeah,
I see what's going on here.
We'll leave that alone. Like I said, like he's staying cheating, so she has every right to move on. Not while she's still married, though.
Okay,
but every right to move on.
Okay, that's it. Long we agree with that.
Okay, yeah. So y'all always want to blame the woman, but don't blame. Y'all don't hold the men accountable.
I didn't blame nobody. I just told you what the report said.
That's
it.
Yeah. All right, you guys. So moving along, right? Eagles and Howie we trust, right? They made some different moves. They made some new moves to this roster. Do we see it? Because at first we've all been talking about the Eagles. Obviously AJ, is not happy. It's been, the focal point. What the offense is not doing. Jalen Brown. To me, Jalen Hurts. Looking a little bit sus at times. The offense, not running the ball if we want them to. All these different things, but they're still winning. And obviously trade deadline is today, and they went ahead. They went ahead of the trade deadline and made some moves. So. They brought in who they bring in Jalen Phillips, Jair Alexander, Michael Carter II, and Tank Bigsby from the Jaguars. Do you think these moves that they made to this roster, are you now convinced, like, okay, the Eagles can go back to back?
I already was convinced. I picked them earlier before the season started.
Even with Agent Brown's, like
before the season started, I picked the Eagles to go back to back. Because see, one thing about Howie Roseman, he's trying to win at all times.
I will give him that.
I believe the Eagles have made 8 trades throughout the offseason to last week.
Yeah, he's not playing. Yeah.
No, he's not playing. He's trying to win. Trying to win the Super Bowl, and you got to show up your defense if you're gonna do that.
Unlike the Browns,
the offense is set. The offense is set. The Browns already got a ready-made defense.
Could you imagine if they brought Myles Garrett over there?
No, I can't imagine. Even though as an Eagles fan, I would love it if they brought Myles Garrett over there, but it don't make sense for Cleveland to trade Myles Garrett. It'd be the dumbest thing that any franchise has ever done in the history of the NFL.
It depends on what they get for him in return.
I mean, if they're gonna give you 10 first-round picks, then you gotta take it. You gotta take it. Yeah, if you do that, and Jalen Carter. Yeah, if you do that, okay, go ahead and get rid of Myles Garrett. But other than that,
Jalen Carter's not going anywhere.
Myles Garrett
he's staying here. He's staying in Philly. He's not going anywhere.
Well,
that's a no. He's a
non-negotiable. Can't go. Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Some players are non-negotiables.
Yeah, he's too young and too talented for me. Like, yeah, go ahead, take this little young.
Right. I like Jalen Carter. I would hope that Philadelphia do right by Jalen Carter going forward. He's a big piece. He's a big reason why they won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that they made these changes. Like I was saying, that's very few. And Russ we trust is one, and in Howie and in Sam Presti's another one. You gotta trust them. They know what they're doing, right? Like they have their vision.
3.
It's always in must be Russell Westbrook or Russell Wilson.
Yes. Russell Westbrook balled out tonight too, 27 and 11.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he balled. They lost to the Nuggets, but Russ balled out. That's my guy. That's my favorite player.
I know you told me, but yeah, I know I like Russ. I really, really do. I really hope that he wins it all before he retires. But I don't think it's gonna happen. In Sacramento.
No, it's not gonna happen.
No. But you never know. Keep your fingers crossed, right? Anything
they might trade. They might trade him to a better situation, but nah.
We'll take him in. We'll take him in the Bay. I'm always like, come over to the Bay. Like we'll take him. We'll take you. But for me, aside, the roster's already great. It's already a championship considered roster, right? So they made some additional moves to make it even better. Which I get, and I respect. But for me, it's what's going on within the team. Like on the offensive side of things. I don't know. I know they're still winning, yes.
Right.
But to me, like when you have like dissension in the locker room and you have a divided locker room and you have players who feel one way about something and players who feel differently about something, like that kind of, I don't want to say cancer, but that kind of inner turmoil to me can still cause you to lose in spite of how talented your roster is. Until they get that fixed to me, I'm like, I don't know. They have the talent to go back to back. Don't get me wrong, and they have a good great coaching staff. But when you're not on the same page, which from QB to your players, that to me is a problem that needs to be addressed and fixed like yesterday.
The offense is fine. Everybody is fine.
AJ.
Hey, Miss Stewart. Yeah, we please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. The offense is fine. What they did have to do was shore up the back end of their defense because they were losing cornerbacks. But Keon Mitchell went down, or Dora Jackson, he's just not good. And they like to keep the other cornerback in the slot position.
Okay. The whole thing went black for a second. Maybe it was just my screen, but I couldn't see it.
Yeah. Your screen kind of froze up, but
okay. So
I kept talking.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I was like,
cool.
y'all see me?
Like I said, the offense is fine. The offense is gonna be okay. I'm not worried about the offense.
Why is nobody taking this seriously?
Because we've been here before. This is
exactly,
this is nothing new.
And they went off a freaking cliff at the
and they won the Super Bowl. So
the next season, yes.
Yeah,
so we're talking about going back to back.
And just last year, the man was on the sideline reading books with highlighted passages of motivation. I'm fine with all that. That we done been through that. We know how to deal with that. What we couldn't deal with was, like I was saying, we had holes in the back end. Pause. We had Kenyon Mitchell went down, or Dory Jackson. He just isn't good. They like to keep Cooper DeJean in the slot. They really like him as a nickel corner. They don't really want him playing on the outside. So we had to show up that cornerback position, and that's where John Alexander. Hopefully, he can muster something, because this is the second time he's been traded this year. And when players are traded multiple times within 1 year, I started to be concerned about him. I don't know if I can trust him or not, but maybe he can be put in the right situation with under Nick Fangio, that he can produce and contribute to the defense. So we definitely had to shore up the back end. But other than that, I just think they're making the right. We just got Brandon Graham. He came back out of retirement. Right. So, I like the moves that they're making, because the offense is going to be just fine. Can we continue to? You win championships with defense, and that's where they want to make sure that the defense is shored up.
We're going to table this right now. We're going to see how this goes, because time is going to tell. I would love nothing more than to see them go back to back. But I'm lying. But I would love more on my Bills winning, okay? Just going to put it out there, all right? Joshua Tyrell Allen is my guy, you guys. Him or Lamar winning. One of those two. I would love to see more than them go back to back. If that doesn't happen, then, I can root for the Eagles. But first and foremost, it's going to be Josh. That's period, okay? That's period.
We'll see.
That's period.
I don't think you believe that. You're hopeful, though.
I believe
you're hopeful.
Say it again.
I believe you're very hopeful.
Look, I have my faith, okay? If we don't have faith, what do we have in this world? So
right.
That's what that is. But speaking okay, of Lamar, Action Jackson is back, you guys. He's back. Thank God. Just in time, it seems. So Lamar is back. Ravens won last Thursday. How are you feeling about the Ravens with him back? When you watch the game, what did you think? Are you looking like, okay, you know what? They're going to make a push. Can you see them making the deep playoff run?
I was very impressed with what I saw. Two things I was impressed with. I was impressed with the way the defense performed. The defense performed very well. They moved Hamilton around a little bit. They put him in a better position to succeed. I like what I saw from the secondary of the Baltimore Ravens. Looked very, very good. The second thing, or should I say the first thing that really impressed me, was the play of Lamar Jackson. Knowing that he's dealing with a tight hammy, he decided he was gonna pick the team of Miami apart out the pocket. And man, he was back there willing and dealing. And I think he showed everybody in the world, I can do this just passing. I don't have to run for 100 yards a game in order to win. I can just pick these teams apart right here from the pocket. And man, the play that he played on Thursday, it was beautiful. To me, it might have been one of the best games I've seen him play in his whole career.
I like Lamar, so I'm really happy to see him back. I'm praying that he can stay healthy. But for me, I'm looking at the opponent. I know you got to play the games. It's on your schedule. You can't help if you got a bummy team or a really, really good team. But Miami's an awful team, like an awful, awful, awful team. So, I mean, they did what they were expected to do, which was win that game. If they would have lost that game, I'm like, oh my God, like it's over. Like the season's over, but they won that game. So for me, I'm gonna wait to see how before I say anything. If I'm going based off of his talent alone, so I do believe in Lamar, then I expect him to be in the playoffs and to make a nice playoff push, But I gotta see a little bit more against better teams.
I'm not saying that Miami are world beaters. Their record tells you that they're not a really good team. But Miami was playing with their back up against the wall. Miami just a week ago went into Atlanta and put the hammer down on the Falcons. Looked very impressive.
Wasn't Captain Kirk playing, right? There was no Michael Penix, right?
Yeah, Captain Kirk, but Miami still, put a good whipping on them, especially on the offensive side. Tua looked great. He was finding Jayden Waller. They were doing their thing. Then you come home.
They're so inconsistent, though. Like
you're correct. They went home and they played Lamar in Miami, and to look the way they did, I was kind of surprised. But at the same time,
you were surprised.
I wasn't surprised that they lost. I was surprised at how bad they looked in the loss because I had thought that they had found something that would work, and clearly it didn't work.
I didn't think so, just because of how they look pretty much the whole season thus far. Like we're past like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Like we were like at the halfway mark now, so you starting to really see teams come together, or you see teams starting to fall apart. And they've been a hot mess pretty much the whole season. I mean, if we even go further back, to last season, like it's been a complete mess, period. At the end of the season, I told you this, like when we were like messaging, I don't see either Mike is going or Tua is going. I'm going to say Tua is going to stay because they paid him, and bring a different coach in there, but if it's me, I would get rid of Tua because Tua, his health is, I don't even like watching their games. Every time someone like knocks him down, like, oh my God, is he okay? Like I turn my head. I'm like, I always pray that nothing happens to that young man, that man. I'm like, oh my God, is he going to be okay? And for me, ownership, like I want somebody here who doesn't have like head injuries. Can you still be concussed? Of course, you know what I mean? But it's just different with him. He's like one really bad hit away from something serious happening. Of course, God forbid. So for me, I got to look at that. I would try to move him if I could.
Yeah, the owner picked him. So because Brian Flores wanted Justin Herbert, the owner wanted Tua. So Tua is the owner's guy. If the owner be willing to, eat the money. And I wouldn't disagree. Sometimes you got to cut bait, and you got to pay that dead money, and you got to go into the draft and get you another quarterback. Since Dan Marino retired, Miami haven't really had Tua might be the best quarterback Miami Dolphins have had since Dan Marino retired, and we're talking 30 years.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. I'm reading these comments really quickly. Nasir, I'm concerned about my Ravens until I see the explosive 20-yard runs with instincts. I'm ready for future disappointment. How do you feel about what Nasir just said? Are you concerned? You're not concerned.
No, I'm not concerned. He ran the ball well last week.
He always does, though, for the most part. Right. It's just like the costly fumbles, like at the end of the game, where it just like something happens and it just goes to shit.
You got Derrick Henry and you got Lamar Jackson. Sometimes a different style is okay.
Mm-hmm.
All that running the football we just saw, and I was just watching the Saturday night game yesterday, and I was like, damn, Jayden Daniels, he keep running, he keep getting hit, taking hits. I'm like, man, I hope he don't get hurt this game. And lo and behold, you know, he gets hurt. I don't want to see Lamar Jackson take a whole bunch of hits. I saw the toll that it takes on the quarterback. I saw what it did to Cam Newton. I saw what it did to Mike Vick. I saw what it's done to RG3. A lot of quarterbacks that decide to run. At some point, you have to be able to pick these teams apart from the pocket. Josh Allen is finding that out. He's operating more from the pocket. He'll run if he just necessarily needs to win the game down the stretch. You know, Pat Mahomes, he's run more this year than he has in the past, but his team was without weapons, so he had to do what he had to do to try to keep his teams in the game. But now that he got his weapons back, he's not looking forward to running the football because those hits hurt. So I believe in the Baltimore Ravens. I believe in Lamar Jackson. Now, I will say this to Nasir, that maybe the defense might not be as good as they looked last week, but they've looked good the last 2 weeks. And if the defense continues to play the way they played the last 2 weeks, I think you should be all right with the Ravens, but they're still under 500. So maybe let's give them 3-4 more games. Maybe they can get to that 6-5 mark, and then we'll feel a little bit better about what the Baltimore Ravens are putting out on the field.
Referring to Lamar, he's indecisive in moments when he should run. More juking than explosive running. To me, he looked like he was very calm and composed this past game. He didn't look indecisive to me. If you think about the whole season, okay, maybe. But thinking back to this past Thursday, to me, he didn't look like that. In big moments, sometimes he has. I will say that. I'm just talking about, right now.
Yeah, I believe, like you said, for the totality of the season, I have seen him have moments where he looked indecisive. Thursday, he looked like his mind was made up. I'm gonna beat these people from the pocket. He ran a couple times where he just had to get out the back window and make something happen, but for the most part,
I don't think he wanted to re-injure himself either. He's like, no, I'm gonna play it cool.
He doesn't, and he played one of the best games I've seen him play in his whole career. He showed me something on Thursday. He showed me that he is capable of being a team just strictly with his arm.
I realized that maybe 2 seasons ago that he had that ability. I just wonder. I feel like sometimes, or at least in the past, I would say, I don't think that he believed that he did. I felt like he felt like he had to, he felt like he had something to prove. Obviously because he used his legs more. I feel like in big moments at the time, not right now, he kind of reverted back to like he has something to prove in terms of his what he can do with his arm. I'm just hoping now that he's like moved past that. In the big moments, of course, in the playoffs. We'll see, though.
Yeah, hopefully he is. I mean, he got weapons around him. Trust those guys. Put the ball in the hands of the playmakers and let them make plays.
But you brought up Jayden Daniels. And honestly, it was really, really. It's been a very trying year for this young man. When you think about like last season, his rookie season, and how historic it was for a rookie, right? to almost get to Super Bowl. He had just a phenomenal run. First year, I think Dan Quinn's first year as a head coach there, and then with him as a rookie and all these different things. So it was exciting, no expectations, and they exceeded expectations. And then this season, it's been like an injury, comeback, injury again. And I didn't know what happened. I didn't watch the game. I was like, okay, they're not going to win this game. And then you said, you texted me. I was like, oh my God, what happened? Then I saw the clip. I was like, oh my God, like that clip was brutal. I was like, I should put like a sensitive warning on there, like before I clicked on it. I wasn't expecting to see like the whole elbow like just turn around. I was like, oh my God, it looked really painful. I mean, I'm like, why did you have him in the game anyway? So a lot of questions regarding their head coach and his choice to leave Jayden in when obviously they weren't going to win this game. And here's what he had to say if you guys didn't hear it already.
I know many of you have been asking about the thought process of Jayden being in the game in that situation. I get that. I've been thinking about it honestly nonstop too. And for me, the answer is, man, I missed it. But I would, I'll fill you in on my thought process. At the start of the fourth quarter, I guess it was probably like 12 and a half minutes left in the game. And that was going to be the last drive for a couple of guys, Jayden. And
so what do you think about what he said? Because he definitely went on to say, I didn't play the whole entire clips for time purposes, but he went on to say that was on him, and he dropped the ball in a nutshell. So do you blame what happened on the coach?
I don't blame what happened on the coach. I'm glad that he was accountable for what happened. He took the sword for his quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good coach. I give him that, but that wasn't his fault that Jayden Daniels got hurt. A lot of times, starting quarterbacks don't want to come out the game because they don't want the backup to get any snaps. I don't give a damn how much Tom Brady was blowing somebody out or how much they were down. Tom Brady wasn't coming out that game. I don't want the backup to get any snaps because he might make a couple plays and I might lose my job because that's how Tom Brady won his job. Because the starting quarterback went down and he got in and got snapped. Drew Brees, I saw Drew Brees playing in the game. They were up 35 points. In the fourth, Drew Brees I don't want the backup to get any snaps. And that's the mentality of a lot of starting quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins just last year with the Falcons. He played hurt because he didn't want Michael Penix to come in and get any snaps. I don't want you to see what the backup quarterback looks like. So at the end of the day, yes, Dan Quinn has the power to say, I'm taking you out the game, but a lot of times the starting quarterback say, I want to play. I believe I can make some plays. I believe we can get back in the game. Let me keep going at it. And you don't want to disappoint your franchise guy or have, verbal altercation, definitely on the big stage, Sunday night football with your starting quarterback. So you just let him go out there and play. Football is a physical sport. It happens. You get hit enough, you're gonna get hurt. And that's just it's unfortunate what happened to Jayden Daniels. I wish him the best and I hope he has a speedy recovery. But for me to sit here and blame Dan Quinn for not taking him out the game, I can't do that.
I'm putting some of it on him. Because I'm looking at the way the season has been going. Okay, like it's obvious that you need him, playing to have success. Like you haven't had much with your backup QB. Like it is what it is. So the fact that he's been injured, he had just came back from an injury. Like he just came back, first game back from being injured after he was injured already previously and came back again. They got injured again. It's been up and down. You know what I mean? But at the point of the game where it's the fourth quarter with 7 minutes, some change left. I'm not exactly sure how many minutes. The minutes was on the clock, but I know it was like 7 minutes and I forgot how many of those seconds, whatever was left. You're down. Was it 38-7? I believe the score was at that time.
It doesn't like 31-7. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was 38. Okay, but 30 something.
Well, yeah, 38 something. Right. 38-14, I believe the score was.
Okay, I thought it was 38-7. But the chances of you making that kind of comeback and winning with that amount of time, it's not likely. I'm not saying that it cannot happen because things do happen sometimes, but it just didn't look like it. You know what I mean? And if I'm a coach, I have to think about making sure that he's healthy because the season is moving. You know what I mean? Like it's picking up now. We're not in week 1 or week 2 anymore. And we obviously need you here to be successful. So you just came back. I don't want to risk you getting injured again. I'm going to take you out. Like you're going to come out. You know what I mean? And looking at the some of the stats, like he's been sacked the most out of all the QBs this season. And he hasn't really played that many games. Like if they can't protect him, and on top of that, he's small. He needs to put some more muscle on. I think I told you that as well. I feel like he should put some more muscle on those bones. Like he's some more muscle to me. If you don't have, the best O-line around him to protect him, buy him time. He likes to scramble, likes to move, all these different things. Like that's who he is. You know what I mean? But I need you to be healthy. I can't risk it. So I'm putting some of that on Dan Quinn because sometimes you got to say play for themselves. Like he's not Tom Brady. He hasn't won multiple ranks, all these different things. You know what I mean? And he wasn't going to lose his job to the backup. They want Jayden playing. They want him to be the starting QB. So he doesn't have to worry about that. And I need you to be healthy. So have your attitude if you want, but you're coming out this game. Like go curse me out, no whatever on the sideline, but you're coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I could argue that because he missed a couple games and he was coming back, that he was rusty. Maybe he needed the reps, and we're just gonna give him these reps. And I mean,
I think that's what he was trying to do.
right? It's always easy to. I mean, somebody got to take the blame. So I'm glad Dan Quinn stepped up to the plate and said, "Put this on me." I'm glad he did that.
I'm here for the accountability.
Right, I'm glad he did that, but for me, I'm not gonna put that on Dan Quinn. The guy wanted to play football. You need the guy to have reps. You need him to be ready.
You don't think he has any responsibility at all in what happened?
I mean, he's the head coach. I mean, if he was able to predict the future and know that Jayden Daniels was gonna get hurt, then yeah, you should have pulled him out. But he don't know that the man's gonna get hurt. When you play football, you're told to protect yourself. It's just a freak injury. It could have happened in the first quarter, and then who would we have blamed? So I just can't put the blame on Dan Quinn. I mean, it just happened.
That's why I said I put some of it on him, not the whole thing. But it still comes down to like he needs to be protected more, or they got to come up with some different plays. He likes to scramble, likes to move. They got to do something different because for him to have been sacked the most out of all the QBs, and he hasn't played that many games due to him being injured, not once but twice at this point, is unacceptable. And if that keeps happening, he's going to stay injured.
Yeah, I mean, it's football. He might not make it that long. Just the unfortunate truth about the business. We seen what happened with RG3. He was rookie of the year, and then he was done.
Yeah, I'm like Jaden's mom. I don't want to put RG3 in this conversation. I can't stand him anyway. So he's done. He's been done. God bless. But back to what Nasir said. Prefer a top tier O-line over retired Debo, but gave a proven talent in McLaurin a challenge during the negotiations. And we know how that goes. But
yeah, but they got him Laramie Thompson. They got him one of the best left tackles in the football in the offseason with a trade with Houston. And this is why Houston is struggling with the offensive line, because Laramie Thompson is in Washington. And when you get a young quarterback like Jayden Daniels, the first thing people say is, let's put weapons around him. Let's give him options. So you brought in Deebo Samuels, even though Deebo Samuels is always injury prone. He's gonna miss a few games every year.
Yeah, I wouldn't have brought him in.
But when he's healthy, he gives you quality offense. He's tough.
When healthy, yes.
And McLaurin has been dealing with injuries this whole season.
Yeah.
And Zach Ertz, I mean, he's a solid tight end, but he's a little long in the tooth. So maybe they have to go revamp some of the weapons around him. You got him a whole bunch of running backs, but then you didn't want to pay Brian Robinson, so you traded him to San Francisco. So now you got a rookie who was drafted in the later rounds, and Bill, they call him Bill, to be your running back, and you got a whole bunch of run-of-the-mill running backs, Jeremy Nichols and those guys. They solid. Austin Eckler got hurt. He was another guy who was a weapon who could catch the ball out the backfield and make plays. But when he tore his ACL, then, I mean, so it's just unfortunate that Washington this season has just dealt with a plethora of injuries.
They have, yeah. They have. But you need your QB to be healthy. And even if last night didn't happen, I'm just concerned that something would still happen again. Because for him, like I said, he has to be protected. You got to protect your QB. Like, they make the most money. Like, they're the most important part of your franchise on your team. Like, they got to be healthy more times than not. And if you have players around them that are okay or not good enough, as a whole, to buy him time to do whatever he needs to do, be it run, throw, buy, like whatever, like a scramble, whatever, his little thing is. And like, you got to figure it out, because like, I'm looking at Joe Flacco, like looking at Joe Burrow last season, the incredible season that he had, stat wise, obviously, and then to have to put up 40 points a game for you to even be able to win. There's no longevity that to me, because this is the NFL. Like, you can't do that every single week in and week out. Like that's not going to happen. And I know they get paid the most money and all of that, but they're still one person. Like it's a team effort. You know what I mean? Like you got to put the right pieces around them to help protect them. If you're not going to do that, then they got to do something different. I think that's just like an NFL issue, not like specifically with Commanders.
Jayden Daniels got to figure it out. He has a problem.
That to make better choices. Yeah,
right. As a young quarterback who is special and wants and believes that he can make every play. Sometimes he tries to make too many plays. Sometimes you gotta know when the journey is over and just get rid of the ball, throw it in the front row. Live to fight another day. But he doesn't want to do that. He believes he can make every play. He believes he can get out of trouble every time, and that's not the case. This is the NFL. You're playing against the best of the best. You're playing against grown men who trying to pay mortgages and have 3 or 4 girlfriends.
Baby mamas,
Right. So you gotta get rid of that ball, man.
When I believe Aziz Al-Shaair had got in trouble. And it was a big, controversy about, defense and, protecting your play, the offense, all these different things. And I remember, I'm paraphrasing, Tom Brady was saying the quarterback has to be smarter and learn how to protect yourself. But I feel like that also goes back to coaching, a lot of these young QBs that come in, obviously they're very talented, but sometimes, they come from these schools where you already have 5-star recruits on both sides all around you. So it's different, obviously, from college against grown men, like you said, who got mortgages, child support payments, they got taking care of their mom, their dad, all these different cars, all living this crazy lifestyle. So it's different. And sometimes they don't know. Should they know how to protect themselves? They should come in with that kind of knowledge, but it's a transition, in the transitional period in the NFL. And I feel like sometimes it goes back to the basics. Are you working with, your quarterback coach? Is he the best? Is he working with Jayden? Okay, I like to scramble, but we gotta stop doing that. Let's figure out something different for you, to still something different. I mean, you can still be Jayden, but in a way that's safer for you so that you can still get the best out of your career without being on the sidelines always injured. And you don't know that right away. That comes with time and coaching.
Yeah, but it comes down to film study. Are you watching the film? Do you know what you're watching when you're watching film? Okay, you watching film, you know what's going on. You know that after this many seconds, get rid of the ball. You know where the defense is coming from. If I'm running the football, don't take. I mean, the hits that he was taking yesterday, I was like, I can't believe Jayden Daniels is taking these hits. Slide, get out of bounds. Don't take these hits. So, I mean, it's a lot of times we blame coaching too much for a lot of things. Sometimes you can do all the coaching in the world. You can be a great coach, and the players got to be accountable for what they do as well. Sometimes they don't do what they need to do because they believe that they can do the spectacular, and sometimes they can, and sometimes they can't.
I mean, last season he pulled off some spectacular moves, right within the games, the game when they beat the Bears. It was crazy, that play, So it was definitely an epic season. So I could see, him still having that in his head. I get it. Plus he's young too, so I get it. But like I said, it needs to be that for me. Sometimes you just gotta save a player for themselves. Oh, coach, I want to play, I want to finish it. No. Go make sure you're not in concussion. I mean, go ahead in that tent and get checked out before you come back on the field. I don't really care if you want to play. You're going. Go. That's it. No questions asked. Curse me out later on if you want to. But sometimes you got to protect people from themselves. Nasir said Flacco has found the fountain of youth. Oh, Cleveland makes you old. Yeah, I think it's Cleveland. But we're gonna leave that one alone.
He found the fountain of youth. It's called Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That's the fountain of youth.
But didn't Joe Flacco help Kevin Stefanski win Coach of the Year a few years ago? At his old age?
He did. Yeah, he led him to the playoff on a good playoff run.
Yeah.
Exactly. They had real receivers in. Now you got Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy ain't good.
Oh my. Those are fighting words.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Smith said that years ago when Jerry Jeudy was in Denver, thanking it up. Yeah, the word had already got out. Jerry Jeudy is not a good football player. It is what it is.
But speaking of the Browns, we have to go to that team. I saw Kevin Stefanski said he will no longer, he's relinquishing the duties of calling the offense. I'm like, you think you are so freaking slick, Kevin. You're not slick. You're trying to keep your job and you don't want the blame on you because that offense looks like dog shit. I do not trust this man as far as I can throw him. I believe he's a snake in the grass. I don't like him. I don't trust him. I just do not. But nevertheless, my personal feelings aside, what do you think about this move? Do you like it? Do you think it was a good move for him to do this?
Yeah, I don't think it was a Kevin Stefanski call. I think the call was taken out of his hands. Somebody else told him Tom Maurice was going to call the plays going forward. This is what we're going to do. So, he of course he's trying to keep his job, which I don't blame him for trying to keep his job.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said,
Cleveland
maybe
if you put Shador in and try something different, you could keep your job.
It's unfortunate, and I hate this too because I pull for all front office members who are black. And Andrew Berry is black, but
yes, I didn't know he had a twin. But go ahead.
He's made a mess out of this situation. This is everything that's going wrong in Cleveland right now. It's the fault of Jimmy Haslam because he made the Deshaun Watson decision, and Andrew Berry.
You don't think
Stefanski is just a coach.
Okay, stop it.
And he's a damn good coach.
Stop it. We're not going to sit here and pretend like that man don't have any kind of say at all. He may not have as much, obviously, as the owner because he's not the owner. But I don't believe for 1 second like he just like a little church mouse and he don't have no say in what goes on at all.
Stefanski didn't hire himself.
No, I'm talking about once he did get hired, though.
Yes,
I do believe he had say. He does have say.
Yes, he got hired to coach the team. Do they bring him in on meetings and they say, we're thinking about getting this guy? How do you think this guy fit in your system? We're thinking about getting this guy. We're thinking about drafting this guy. He said, yeah, I like that guy because he can fit right here in this system. Or I like this guy. Yes, he has some say-so in the overall strategic planning of what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, he's just a coach. He don't get the shop for the groceries. He just got to cook the groceries. And sometimes they give him stuff to cook that he was like, what am I supposed to do with this? How am I supposed to make a great dish out of this? So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I cannot believe that a coach who's won Coach of the Year twice, he all of a sudden can't coach. You're not going to make me believe because then that means that, and some of my family members were telling me this last week, they said, man, you should go coach the Falcons. I think you'll do a better job than Raheem Morris. Now, I can't disagree, but if you telling me, but you telling me that Kevin Stefanski, a coach who's won Coach of the Year twice, he can't coach, then yes, I might as well go and coach the Atlanta Falcons because I can do better than guys who've been on the sideline for 10, 15, 20 years. It just don't make sense to me. But what does make sense to me is this guy, Andrew Berry, who's in the front office making decisions as a general manager. I just look at the moves that he's made.
Look,
you had 6 quarterbacks on your roster. Who does that?
A team that's trying to obviously figure it out.
No, you're not trying to figure it. If you got 6 quarterbacks, you have none.
Well, I think that's the because obviously they have been suffering after they brought Deshaun in, and obviously it was a fail. It just was an epic fail, right? And even he is still there. Like he hasn't. Right. They haven't parted ways officially with him yet, so he could come back. Who knows?
Yeah, he might.
But I can understand bringing other QBs in because you want to try to figure out can you find a franchise QB. In this little, bunch that you have, I get it, which is why let a few of them go. But I don't believe that Kevin Stefanski doesn't have any say. Now he may not have as much say, as Andrew, or obviously the owner is the owner, But I do believe that when Andrew Berry is thinking about bringing other players in or trading, I do believe that is a conversation. I don't think he's just like, okay, hey, I'm doing this, and Kevin doesn't have any say at all.
Let me ask you this:
I could be wrong. I don't believe it though.
Who you think made the call to draft Shador?
Well, I mean, they said the owner said it was that it was a GM. He said it.
Okay, that's
So.
Andrew Barry. Stefanski didn't want Shador.
Well, I said that from the beginning. I don't think he wanted him, but that's why I
No,
also
he didn't, because
said,
it made no sense.
and I also said that's why I said at this point, if you're not going to let him play, then you might as well go on ahead and get rid of him.
That's not a Stefanski decision. Barry drafted Shador, so Barry doesn't want to get rid of Shador. I can guarantee you there's some sort of clash that's going on right now between Stefanski and Andrew Barry. Because see, the truth of the matter is they traded for Kenny Pickett to be their starting quarterback. When Kenny Pickett got hurt,
they got rid of him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett got hurt in the preseason, so and then a lot had happened. They had then signed Flacco to be the backup. He was going to be the backup to Kenny Pickett. They had then drafted Dylan Gabriel, who they were going to develop in case Kenny Pickett and that didn't work out. They were going to develop Dylan Gabriel. Then all of a sudden, Andrew Barry got the wise decision to say, you know what? Let's go ahead and take Shador in the 5th round. Hey, what are you doing?
That could have been an owner too. I mean, I did read reports that said that I know Jimmy said it wasn't him. Like, I would have been if you would have told me on Friday night, like you would have drafted Shador. I would have been like, oh, that's not happening. Yeah, okay, sir, whatever. I've also read a few times over. I don't know how true it is, obviously, that Jimmy and Dion have a cool relation, that they're close, or they're good friends. So he could have been like, Andrew, I want him here, and they're making him the fall guy, but it could have been an owner.
It could have. Let's say it's the owner. Let's say it's Andrew Barry. It's not Kevin Stefanski.
No, he's not. But I don't believe that.
Again,
I don't believe that Kevin doesn't have any say. Like, you're not going to
clearly, if they was in the room, Kevin probably was like, nah, let's not get Shador. Let's get another player. Let's get somebody who can help us right now. And they were like, nah, we going to get Shador if he's available. And Shador was available. That's not Kevin Stefanski. That's Andrew Barry or maybe Jimmy Haslam, who Jimmy Haslam had publicly said that it wasn't him.
The fact that you seem to believe that Kevin is just this little deer in headlights, so to speak, and he's just going with the flow.
I believe he's in a bad spot.
Of what?
I believe he's in a bad spot. I do.
Okay.
I do. I believe that he's intelligent enough to know that I can't have Shador on this roster if I'm going to try to develop these other quarterbacks. He knows what Shador was going to bring to the picture.
So when you think of conversations are had, do you think they just go ahead and just go over his head and just do what they want to do? Or they talk to him? You don't think they talk to him at all? Like, he's not in the room at all?
I'm pretty sure they told him this is what we're going to do.
Not talk at him, talk to him. Like, hey, Kevin, come upstairs after practice. Okay, what's going on, guys? Okay, we're gonna bring in such and such.
Yeah.
Just wanted you to know.
Right. He probably like, man, I really don't want to do that, But at the end of the day, he lost that argument because
as intelligent as you are, I cannot believe that you believe that. I cannot believe that. As smart as you are,
his job is to coach the team, not pick the groceries.
No, not necessarily pick the groceries, but you can also give your list.
Yeah, you can give your list, but that don't mean they have to get everything on your list.
No, they don't have to. I don't believe that he's just like, I'm just here to coach. I don't have any say at all. I don't believe that.
Coach. He's there to coach. He can tell you, okay, if you're the chef, right? And I say, look, and you say, look, I need some cardamom, I need some cumin, I need some dill, I need some oregano. This is how I make this soup. This soup is gonna be fire if you get me these ingredients. But I gotta go do the grocery shopping with my budget. And I say, you know what? I know she said she wants a cardamom, but I really ain't. I'm gonna shortchange this. I'm gonna get some cinnamon instead. And I know she told me she wants some dill, but I can't really get the dill. I'm gonna get something else instead. And I bring that back to you and say, here you go. I know what you asked me for, but this is what I got for you. Now make a meal out of this. You know, be like, I'm gonna do my best, but don't blame me. Don't blame me if it don't taste the way it's supposed to taste.
Okay, so if we're going by the logic and he has no say at all, he's just there, just whatever they bring him, he just has to cook it and deal with it. Shador hasn't been playing really. He hasn't been getting any reps or nothing. He kind of just is just there. Dylan's
Right.
been more the focus, even when Flacco was there, as he was announced as to be the backup QB, and then the decision obviously to make him starting QB going forward.
Right.
Why does it still look like that then? Because you have your guy. The guy that you wanted, in the third round, Shador's on the sideline in spite of what the ownership or the GM want. So you got your guy up until
You don't have his guy.
You brought Dylan in. That is your guy.
Yes,
that's who you brought.
Yes, but once again, they brought in Kenny Pickett to be the quarterback.
Kenny Pickett been left. We can't use him as an excuse.
I know. Okay, just hear me out. He brought in Kenny Pickett to be the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Pickett stayed hurt in the preseason. It didn't work out. So then you had to make Flacco the quarterback who you wanted to be your backup. We knew that Flacco had a limited amount of time. Once you got the Dylan Gabriel,
who looks a lot better with his one weapon in Cincinnati.
Yes, that's my whole point, because they got holes in Cleveland. They need wide receivers. They don't have wide receivers in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they got Isaiah Bond and gave him a guaranteed contract. After he got finished with his court case or whatnot, brought him in and signed him. But anyway, once you get down to Dylan Gabriel, you're at a situation where you got to develop a guy.
You do.
This is not a Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett guys who've been in the league, who have experience, who you can hopefully read your playbook, understand your playbook, practice, and you have the ball rolling. You got a young guy who hasn't taken snaps in the NFL. You have developed Dylan Gabriel. So that's where he is right now. He's at a point where he has developed a third-round quarterback. Not a first round, not a second round.
You chose to bring in.
Yes.
You traded for Kenny Pickett, right?
Dylan wasn't supposed to play. I don't believe Dylan was supposed to play this year. That wasn't the plan, that at some point we're going to play Dylan Gabriel. Once you got down to Dylan Gabriel, you already know I'm screwed.
Okay, so this is not adding up to me. We can't. For me, I can't take that man and not put let him shoulder any of the blame for how things look this season.
You gotta take some of the blame. He's the head coach, so you gotta take some of the blame.
He's like I said, that's the guy you wanted. Like if you made the call, they said go ahead. He said that's Dylan's his guy. So you had enough. Enough off the leash to get who you wanted to get.
Dylan is their guy. They all agreed on taking Dylan. They didn't think Shador was going to be there in the 5th round. They all agreed to take Dylan. Somehow Shador fell all the way to the 5th round, and Andrew Berry was like, "I got a bright idea. Let's take Shador." No, don't do that.
So back to Kevin, because this offense does not look too hot. You look at Joe Flacco, as old as he is, right? You can be comparing how he looked the first few weeks there in Cleveland. And we're comparing him to how he looks now in Cincinnati. And even though that they haven't won, he looks a lot better.
Look a lot better.
It's not even about it's not about Jamar. I'm talking about
Flacco turned the ball over 3 times last week.
And he was still in better position. He still, as a whole, looks better in that offense.
Lost 2 straight. He won.
I didn't say they won. I didn't say they won. I never said that. I said even though they lost, he still looks better than he did in Cleveland. Like in Cleveland, it looked like he couldn't play. I was like, why would you bring him there?
The first game of the season, Joe Flacco threw for 290 yards. He should have threw for 350 yards, but Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman were dropping the ball all over the field. And then they should have won the game, but the kicker, he missed a chip shot field goal to win the game. They should have won that game. Joe Flacco.
Don't put it on your kicker.
Come on.
Don't put it on your kicker. Don't put it on your kicker.
Come on.
That's like leaving it in the ref's hands. That can go one way or the other.
The whole point was Joe Flacco played well in game 1. He played well. Hell, the game they won against Green Bay, he looked at average, but the defense played so good that they ended up winning the game. Other than that, Joe Flacco, they just don't have the weapons. Once Cedric Tillman went down, they didn't have another guy. So everybody rolled coverage over to Jerry Jeudy, and now all you got is the tight ends.
Even in Cincinnati without Joe Burrow.
Right.
And you haven't it's pretty much been a 2-man show. Like T. Higgins is there, like you got to account for him, but it's pretty much been Flacco Chase.
And Chase Brown has played well, and Noah Fant has played well, and the other wide receiver is getting open.
That's been his go-to guy, Like, I mean, you can look at the stats and see. I think T. Higgins had like 3 receptions compared to Jamar, like 15, 16. But my point is that it's a clear difference in how he looks in this offense. To me, it is versus how he looked in Cleveland. And I don't think Kevin is who you think he is. I don't believe he's innocent. I believe he has a part in what's going on. I do believe that he wanted Dylan there. I don't think it was a Jimmy Haslam. I don't.
He did want Dylan there. They all wanted Dylan there.
And they also wanted Joe Flacco, and they also wanted Kenny Pickett. Otherwise, you wouldn't have traded assets to get Kenny Pickett there.
They only traded the 5th round pick, and then they got that 5th round pick back when they traded him to Oakland. So it wasn't a big deal. Look. Let me explain something to people out there at home. When you got a defense as bad as Cincinnati, your offense is going to be on the field a lot. So your quarterback is going to put up way more numbers than he is when he's on the team that has the number 1 defense in the league, and your offense isn't on the field as much.
Theoretically, but that doesn't always mean that. You could be on the field a lot. That don't mean you scoring or getting no points up. You could be in and out.
You see Cincinnati. They 3 plays, the other team to score. You back on the field. You go back up. You got T. Higgins and Chase and Chase Brown and all those guys. You go up the field. I mean, the man lost a fumble, and he threw 2 picks. That's 3 turnovers. He's just as much to blame for Cincinnati losing that game Sunday as the defense is. But because he threw for 470 yards, it's like, oh, he played great. No, the defense.
I didn't know how many yards he threw for, so I didn't know that.
He down there threw 500 yards. But the offense was on the field that much. That's what happens when you play offense the whole game. You're going to throw for 400 yards.
Well, yeah, I mean, I look, I mean, you think about before, oh man, I can't think of his name. Before they brought Joe Flacco in. Who was the other QB that they had? I cannot think of his name right now.
Oh, Browning.
Yes, Jake Browning. Yes.
Yeah.
Even Joe Flacco looks better than him.
Yeah,
in the same offense, the same coach, the same weapons. Like even he looks better, than and Joe Flacco's older. So it never. For me, it goes back to Kevin Stefanski. Like I said, they made the decision to go with Dylan, little Dylan, before they went with Shador. I don't know whose choice it was.
They should have did.
And I don't really care whose choice it was, right? But for Kevin, for me, if you had Joe Flacco there, you had Kenny Pickett there. We didn't know he was going to get hurt. Obviously, you can't foresee the future, But to me, if you were sold on Kenny Pickett being your number 1, and then Joe Flacco being the backup to support him, at the 3rd round, if I know I need wide receivers, I'm going to try to pull for that. Now, maybe he did, and they said, no, we're going to go with Dylan, because I'm not in the room.
You're looking for a quarterback that you can develop. Dylan Gabriel was
Kenny Pickett's not old. How old is Kenny Pickett's not old? And he looked decent last season.
Yeah, but they didn't see Kenny Pickett, though. Kenny Pickett wasn't going to be the future. He was what you call a stopgap guy. Now, if Kenny Pickett comes in and he plays really well, because we took Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, we can re-up Kenny Pickett and get him Baker Mayfield type money, which is not going to break the bank. And then we can just keep Dylan Gabriel around to continue to develop while we ride with Kenny Pickett. But Kenny Pickett took no snaps in the preseason. So with the way Dylan Gabriel performed in the preseason, it was like, okay, we can go ahead and we're just gonna ride with Flacco and we'll let Dylan Gabriel back him up. But you gotta let Dylan Gabriel you gotta let him develop. Now I believe if he doesn't play well next week against the Jets, it's gonna be out of Kevin Stefanski's hand. Andrew Berry and the owner are gonna make the decision to put Shador in and play Shador, which is fine. Go ahead and play Shador because the season is done anyway. But my whole thing is, it's just another Cleveland mishap. If you're gonna take Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round to develop him, allow him to develop. Don't pull him out for another guy that you drafted in the 5th round. And then when he comes in, because you don't have the weapons around him to succeed, you can potentially ruin 2 guys' career before their career even gets started. Mm-hmm. That's why they shouldn't have taken Shedeur. It just wasn't a good move.
And by again, all of
them gonna get fired at the end of the season anyway. Andrew Berry's getting fired, Stefanski's getting fired, and they're gonna clean house, and they're gonna take another quarterback with the 1st round next year. And I don't know what's gonna happen with Shedeur. I don't know what's gonna happen with Dylan Gabriel. It's unfortunate that they had to go to that dumpster fire called the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, but look, I guess we'll see how this whole thing plays out. I'm glad the Jets won one game, but I'm not sold on how they're gonna look the rest of the season, honestly. So we'll see what happens. Nasir, Shedeur should have been at the team's facility working out and analyzing film instead of seeking attention in Boulder. He wonders why he was drafted late when he's flying private and hanging out with Pops. He can't go see his dad in the bye week?
Yeah, I don't agree with that take necessarily.
I mean,
don't get me wrong, the optics and Nasir is he's a fan. He sees what the fans see. Me personally, I don't think there was anything wrong. It's the bye week. Go clear your head. Maybe he just took 1 day to be in Cleveland. Maybe he took 2 days. But the rest of the time, he could have been looking at film, working on his game. I don't know what he was doing. But like I always say, and I said this to you before weeks ago with Shedeur, as a quarterback, sometimes it's just best to stay out of sight, out of mind. Don't let people see you. But he has to be seen all the time. And when you have to be seen, you got people like Nasir who are going to say, oh, he should have been watching film. He should have been doing this. This is what happens when people see you. I saw a little clip just last week. Lamar Jackson was going to get some food from a homeboy he had who had his own business. He wanted to go patronize with him. It was late at night. He went and bought some food from the guy. And you had people saying, oh, look at Lamar. He's high. He's out there getting food late at night. Instead of working like stop that. No, he's not. He's going to patronize one of his friends who got his own business and he want to help him out. But when you don't stay out of sight and out of mind, you open the door for your critics to start saying all kind of stuff. And that's what we have right here.
Well, to me, this is BS. This is BS with Shedeur, respectfully, and this BS when it comes to Lamar. These men are allowed to go out to dinner. They're allowed to go support a friend at a play. They're allowed to go to a game, a basketball game, at the end of the day. They are allowed to still be people. Like, they're allowed to go out and still do things like the rest of the world. Can they do some of the things that we do every day, like everyday life, just going for a walk in the park? No, because it'll be complete pandemonium or something, depending on where you are, and it's not safe. But we have to stop acting like that they can't go out and be seen at all. And if they are, oh my God, how dare you do that? Shedeur has been, according to Kevin Stefanski, other players in that locker room, and the reports I've heard, he's done what he had to do. He's been there. He's been present. He's participated. He's been studying his film. He's been there. I haven't heard anything about him not doing what he's been asked to do. I've heard that he arrives earlier. He stays later sometimes. These things I've heard. You know what I mean? But so what if he goes to see his father? He doesn't see his dad in how long? Are we forgetting how close him and his dad are? Like how he used to be with his dad. It does matter. It does matter because he has a right. It does to me. He has absolute right to go see his father. He has a right to go see his son if he had a kid. Like, so what? He could have went to see his dad. No, I'm just saying in general, like, because to me these kind of statements really irritate me and get to my soul. It's like we because we don't like Shedeur.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with that.
Now.
I don't think it has nothing to do with him.
To me, I think it does because we don't talk about anybody else going now. When it's a player that we don't like,
see it.
We do see it. We just don't choose not to talk about it. That's the difference. When you don't like some, we nitpick every single thing that Shedeur does because we don't, not you, but a lot of people don't like him. Right. Like that's
a lot of people do like him though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking about those that don't.
There's more people that like him than don't like him.
I'm speaking to the side of the critics though, not the side of people that support him. Right. Like he hasn't seen his dad in God knows how long. Like when you are close with a parent, you know what I mean? Like it matters to you to go see your parent. Now, if you are in a different situation and you might not have that kind of relationship, I'm really close with my mom. You know what I mean? So for me, if I had to be away from her for weeks, months at a time, if I did have a day or even a couple of hours, I'm going to go see her. And then I'll fly back and do what I got to do. But he also could be there in Colorado working out. He could have worked out, you know what I mean? In the morning with his QB coach, he could have spent some film on a plane. I mean, there's 24 hours in the day. For me, it's really irritating. It's like you use Lamar's example. I didn't see what Lamar did when he went out, but he went to go support a friend. So what? He can go support a friend and then go back home and study film. Like, was he with the friend all day? Like, was he out drinking, getting drunk? Was he tipsy outside someplace? That's something different. Like, sometimes like these standards to me we hold them to are a bit unrealistic because they're still people. They may make 300 million, or whatever have you, but they're still people. They're not robots.
I think a lot of time what it comes down to is a lot of football players are close with their parents. Shedeur is no closer to Deion than Tom Brady is with his father, Brett Favre is with his father. And you just didn't see it from these other quarterbacks. They stay out of sight and out of mind.
We like Tom Brady.
Brett Favre's father died. And Brett Favre had a heavy heart, but he went out there and he played and he threw 5 touchdowns. And so for the fan that has, been watching this type of history, they look at the dedication that a quarterback seems to have. We don't know all the truth about it. We don't know all the detail. He could have went and saw his family right before he came out, and his family said your dad would have wanted you to go play, and then he went and played. But because we don't see it, so there's this stigma we have that, damn, Tom Brady, all he does is watch film. He doesn't go out. He doesn't do nothing. We don't never see Tom Brady. We don't never see Peyton Manning. He don't do nothing. He just work on film. He just practice. He just throws to his teammates. We don't see nothing. And so when you see guys out, definitely in this era of social media, you see these guys out and they're doing this and they're doing that, and they're not watching film and they're not working on their game. Some people say, oh, he's not working hard. Well, that could be the furthest from the truth, but the optics don't look good. So I get where you're coming from. I'm with you. I agree with you, but I still understand why you have some people saying the things they say, because we never saw Tom Brady anywhere. We never saw Peyton Manning anywhere. We didn't see Drew Brees anywhere. We didn't see these guys. Only other quarterback we saw somewhere was Mike Vick. Find dogs on Tuesday, and we saw what he did to his career. So the stigma is, if he's not disappearing somewhere, then he ain't doing the right things. So I get it, but I just disagree with it.
I don't. And even like going back to his statement, reading the end of it, right? Like going back to the end of it, right? Like he should have been the team facility working out and analyzing film instead of seeking attention in Boulder. He wonders why he was drafted late when he's flying private and hanging out with Pops. So the knock on him being drafted late was that he was kind of full of himself. So what to do with him going? What to do with him going? What's to do with him going to see his dad? That's two different things. I'm just going about this statement, and it reads like someone respectfully who doesn't like Shedeur. You know what I mean? Like it's like yeah, I mean, yeah, and everybody's entitled to like who they like. I'm not trying to convince somebody to be a fan of Shedeur, because I am. But I don't like judging people when we look at Shedeur. What has he really done? You know what I mean?
The thing is, Shedeur doesn't care. But
I'm not saying that he does. I'm just saying
but he does give
narrative is not to me a complete and accurate narrative. Like you don't see him hanging out. You don't.
Right. But he does give ammo to his naysayers. Like, let's see, he gives some ammo because it's unfortunate that the media plays this game. They show Shedeur, pre-game, walking with his dad pre-game. They show him in his office. So he spent a couple days with his dad up in Colorado. But they don't show Dylan Gabriel nowhere. So it looks like Dylan Gabriel just focused on football.
But we also don't care enough to even see it.
I know, but I'm saying for the naysayers. The naysayers get ammo and they say, see, I told you, when it might not be the truth. Like you said, I agree with you that Dylan Gabriel could be up in Alabama or somewhere with his mom and them the whole time, but they're not.
And
putting
nobody
the
was
camera.
saying it because they don't care.
Right, exactly. That's the problem. Everybody cares about everything that Shador does.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what the difference is. It's not like he's necessarily doing anything wrong. It's that you want to point a finger at him because you feel some kind of way about him as a person.
Right.
Not because he's doing something wrong. Why would his dad? I can't see him not studying or not working out. Now, maybe he said, I'm taking some days off. I'm not doing nothing. That could be reality too. But it's also reality where you have 24 hours in a day. He could very well have worked out with his dad in the morning or with the coach in the afternoon. He could have had 3 workouts for all I know. He could have went to bed looking at film. Like, why are we assuming that he went to hang out with his dad? Therefore, it means that he didn't work out.
If I could talk to Shador, I'll tell you what I would tell him. Based on my experience, I feel like we have some similarities in that we want to do it our way. I would say, do it your way. Don't change. Be your own man. But just understand what you're doing is your way. You're going to have to you're taking the long way. You're not taking the shortcut. You're going to have obstacles in your way that you're going to have to climb because people are going to always have something to say about you. Do it your way, but just understand what comes with doing it your way. And if you can understand and accept what comes with doing it your way, then be at peace with that. And that's what I would tell Shador. There's an easier road to take. There's an easier road to take, but it's going to require you to not be so much of who you are. But if you hell bent on being who you are, like I was, just understand that there's going to be some obstacles that's going to come with that, and man up about it and be accountable.
Nasir's follow up. You're an NFL player. Grow up and see your dad in the off season. Respect Katja, but they have this thing called FaceTime. Making excuses for him doesn't benefit his future. The coddling has to end. Where's the coddling? It's not coddling. You're judging him based off of what you assume that he's doing when you really have no freaking clue because you're not there with him. Because you saw him with his dad, you assume that meant that he was hanging out, relaxing, chilling. He didn't work out. He didn't talk to the coach. He didn't look at any kind of film. To me, that says more about you and your personal views rather than Shador and what he has going on. Because when you think about Shador, you may say, look, he's too flashy and all that, with his watch or whatever have you. And that's fine if you feel like that. You may not like how he dresses. I think you spoke about him wearing his chains and things of that nature. You don't like how he dresses. It really sounds like, I'm going back to your comments when we mentioned Shador, like you have a personal issue with him. Because when you think about Shador, have you really seen him out doing anything crazy? I haven't seen this young man at the club. I haven't seen him hanging out with multiple women. I haven't seen him with weed in his hand. I haven't seen him drinking, knocking back shots. And if he was out there doing it, there'll be some footage because he's Shador. So somebody would have released it somewhere. It wouldn't be hidden. When I have seen him out, I've seen him at the at a local high school with some kids. He went on his own and just pulled up. He wasn't asked to make an appearance. There was a fire that happened somewhere in Cleveland that he chose to go to and spend time with some of the families. Again, he wasn't asked to come. He chose to go because he heard what happened. So there are a lot of good things that he does. If you want to choose to look at him going out with his dad or him hanging out with his brother or him going to Jacksonville and hanging out with Travis or something for the weekend or whatever have you, or him jumping up on Travis's his live stream, and you choose to look at it and say, oh my God, this is why he didn't get drafted, higher. This is why this is why that. Then that's the lens you choose to look at it through. But there's other great positive things that he is doing that you could look at as well. Right. It depends on what side you wanna look at.
Yeah, he wants to do it his way. As long as he do it your way, but understand you're gonna have obstacles. You're taking the hard road.
What is his way though? I don't, like I said, to me, I'm not going to ask somebody.
He wants to be himself. He wants to be himself.
But I don't see anything. I don't see anything wrong with what him.
There's nothing wrong with it. It just goes against.
But you keep telling. But I don't think it's right to tell him to not go out. Don't go out. Don't go to the grocery store.
Yeah,
just stay inside.
Like I said, I kind of went through some of the same things he was doing. Mm-hmm. I wanted to do it my way. I wanted to be myself. Not that I was doing anything wrong. I was the best at what I was doing. But I had a friend tell me at the radio station one time. He called me aside, called me into the room, one of the studios. He said, "Look, man, He said, "Man, you really good at this sports stuff. You probably the best guy here, but man, you make them white folks scared. You need to just tone it down some. Just tone it down."
No,
And I was like, but I do it my way. This is who I am. I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna speak on the things I speak of. If something ain't right, I'm gonna say that it ain't right. You know, I'm gonna have my viewpoints of different subjects. This is what I'm gonna do. If I feel like I'm getting passed over for somebody who, because at one point I was already in the house locker room before I even got to the radio station. And so when I got there, it was a new radio station in Atlanta. It's the #1 rated sports station. And I was like, shoot, I already got a relationship with the house. Y'all looking for house reporters. I'm the guy you send out there. It was like, nah. So they decided to send some other people out there. But what they did was the people that they were sending out there, they would tell them to come to me to get advice on how to set up an interview, how to ask questions, how to do this. So they were asking me to train the people who were doing what they just should have sent me out to do.
Okay.
So, but I got it. You know what I'm saying? I was, you know, I wasn't mellow about it. I wasn't just, you know, button up and gonna say what they want and look how they want and do how they want. I had long hair. Me having locks, definitely back then, that was frowned upon. I wasn't willing to cut my locks off so I can give them the image that they wanted to portray. So I had to take the hard, long road. And that's what I'm saying for Shador. Do it how you want to do it. Be yourself. I applaud that. I want you to be yourself. But understand that what you're doing yourself, you're taking the long, hard road, because you got people like Nasir, not only the fans, but you got those same kind of people that are in front offices and decision makers who are going to say, see, this is why we don't want to bring him in. See, this is why we're not going to take him. See, this is why he needs to learn and sit and mature, because he wants to do it his way. And I think it's messed up, but it's the reality of life in America.
In America, or are we talking about the black side of things? Because Jackson Dart,
he is black, right? He is. To my last eyes, he's the same color as me.
Okay, there we go. I'm like, what we getting at? Just come on and say it.
And he in America, right?
Okay, so that's the difference, because I'm a fan of Jackson Dart as well. You know what I mean? And Jackson Dart have his chains on, he got his jewels, but it's not a problem. Nobody says anything about him wearing jewelry. No one's like, oh, well, you should calm that down, Jackson, and just focus on your game. Don't wear the chains. Like, no one's saying that. It's like, look at that young man. He's a superstar. He's exciting. He's this, he's that. So it's okay. But with Shador, it's like you should dress different. You should be different.
It ain't all black and white though. Go ahead.
No, not every single thing. No, I'm just saying.
I've seen some white quarterbacks that had to deal with this same issue that Shador is dealing with.
Again, but I feel like a lot of time, again, it goes back to like likability. I feel like because Shador has a certain narrative out there, you know what I mean? People feel how they feel about him. They don't even really know him. You know, and to Nasir, what you said, you're a Shador fan, gotcha. I'm old school and believe in tough love. I'm not talking about tough love. To me, we're mixing and matching two different things. You know, like when Shador did the whole mime thing, I was like, Shador don't do that. You know, because I was like, they're gonna make that, because just answer the question professionally or don't answer it or just stay out the press, whatever. But I did not like that. I didn't agree with that move at all. He did it, and hopefully he learned something from that, you know. And I could tell that he did, because they caught him at the freaking car dealership, completely away from the facility, and they were asking him questions, and I could tell from his responses, okay, somebody spoke to him, or he said, okay, let me do something different, and his response was more mature, more professional. So he is learning, but I think it's unfair to ask Shador, Jackson Dart, Joe Burrow, I don't care who it is, you know, it could be a freaking Shohei Ohtani, to not be people, to not go out every so often.
But they asked him that though.
No, but he was talking about him going to hang out with his dad when he should be doing that.
These other guys are people too. But
I just said
but they choose to take the shortcut, the easy path of.
I don't see what he's doing as the long cut. If you're asking Shador to stay inside the house, he's gonna be seen because they want to see him. You know, so unless he lives up under a rock someplace, like. then that's not realistic and it's unfair. Even when he does go out, if he goes up to the grocery store and they follow him and ask him a question, but he can't buy groceries, he should have what, Instacart, it sounds silly to me and unrealistic.
Yeah.
Now, when you spoke about with you, and how you used to be very outspoken, and I can understand that to a certain degree, because sometimes I used to be the kind of person that just said whatever came to mind, without thinking about it. I don't care how it sounds. You took it that way. That's on you. I didn't say that. I'm not responsible for how you took what I said. So deal with it and figure it out, but don't come to me with it. And I had to learn as I got older. I'm like, okay, it's not what you say, but how you say it. It's not what you do. But like how you do things. And that came with age. But at the same time, when it comes to Shador, I look at him in totality. Does he have things he can work on? Of course, nobody's perfect. But I feel like we spend more time judging him for who he is as a person versus what he's doing on the football field. And his coach said he's doing what he's asked, what's asked of him. He hasn't really given him a problem. The locker room seems to like him. He's been a great presence there. So I'm going to look at that. I'm not going to look at him going to see his dad. Could he have FaceTimed him? Yeah, he could have. But so what he did, he went to go see his dad. I'm not going to condemn him for that.
That's just condemn. You're not gonna condemn him. I'm not gonna condemn him for it, but there are a lot of people that are. That's my whole point. The same thing with Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow just couldn't stay out of sight, out of mind. They followed him around just like they followed Shador around. Every time they followed him around, he was saying something about Jesus this, and the Lord this, and this. And it's like, Tebow, why you just stay out the camera, just stay out of sight.
And that was the issue. It was him talking about his religion that was the problem.
But every time they saw him, they always gonna have a problem. Every time they see you, you can be talking about Jesus, you can be hugging your dad, you can be getting something to eat from your homeboy spot. If they see you as a quarterback, they gonna have something to say. So,
but to me, that goes back more to the person that's saying it than who they're saying it about.
You're correct.
If you have a camera in my face and I want to speak about how important my faith is to me, if you don't agree with it, then you don't have to. But I still have the right to talk about how important I think God is to me.
Right. I'm just saying, it ain't even got nothing to do with that. Because Johnny Manziel was another guy that keeps saying, I was like, Johnny Manziel, you got to stop being seen, bro.
What was he doing? What was he doing?
He hanging with Josh. Remember the wide receiver that kept getting suspended for weed?
I don't.
Right. Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon was a great wide receiver. He was like Randy Moss on steroids.
Okay.
The problem with Josh Gordon was he kept failing marijuana tests. So the league kept suspending him. They banned him. They banned him for like 3 years. Then they let him come back. Then he got suspended again. He hanging with Johnny Manziel. I was like, Johnny, it's not a good look, bro. I don't care how much you might be doing for football. This is what they're going to say.
Well, I can understand that. If you're hanging out with someone who's getting in trouble for doing certain things, then I get that, because they always say you are the company you keep. So if Shador or Jackson Dart or some Angel Reese, people don't like her either. They were hanging out with somebody who was suspended constantly for selling weed or flashing guns or whatever it is, and I can understand people have an issue with that. But when it comes to Shador, specifically, we don't really see him hanging out with anybody.
No,
we do it with his family.
I saw John Morant. John Morant didn't break any laws. All he was doing was going out there and give me 25 points, 10 assists, and lead Memphis to a top 3 seed in the West. But because they saw him doing some things that they don't like, even though he didn't break the law, they saw some things he was doing that they don't like. They decided they're going to take John Morant. That was messed up, in my opinion. I thought that was wrong. But
I understood that.
But at the same time, they selling a lot of jerseys to these children, these white kids, who they don't want those kids to be influenced by John Morant. So they made a statement for John Morant. But that's why I'm like, damn, John Morant, you got to stay out of sight, out of mind, because every time they see you, I don't give a damn what you're doing. You ain't got to be hanging with nobody with no guns. Just because they see you, they're going to come up with a narrative of what they were seeing.
I mean, well,
Lamar Jackson wasn't high. He wasn't doing drugs. They talking about, oh, look at Lamar Jackson. He high. He gets food late at night from a random spot, and that was so far from the truth.
But it's also
that's
when
the
you think about
they
it.
want to paint.
But also, how often? Maybe I'm missing something. How often do I can't count on how many times I've seen Lamar Jackson hanging out.
You're right. So it only takes one.
No, but again, that goes back to how you see Lamar. Because think about Lamar, like he has the jewelry, he has the diamonds in his mouth, his hair is braided, he is darker complected. If we saw Jaylen now, because his image is cleaner, Russell, his image is a married man, they're both married, obviously, family man. We wouldn't say anything about Russell hanging out or going out.
I saw Russell hanging out last week.
I was going to say his Sierra's birthday. He was getting his dance on.
Yeah,
and I think I was watching the show and they were like, look at Russell, he's having a great time. We love this Russell Wilson.
Right, but nobody cares about Russell Wilson, so they let him get away with it.
No, even if it was a different time, the same. It's also the image too. Like Russell Wilson has a different image. He looks different. We see. Whether we want to admit it or not, when we see somebody who got goals and they got braids and diamonds, we think of certain things.
If Russell Wilson had been a starting quarterback for the New York Giants and they were losing games and they saw that tape right there, they would have said, he's not studying his playbook. He's sitting out here being at the party. That's what they would have said. But because he's the backup and he's not playing anymore,
and not to understand,
they sweep it under the rug.
I can understand that, but like I said, he already won. He's older, his time is here.
Get your part on, Russ. It's over with.
But we do in this society, we pick and choose who we want to, who want to mess with or who we deem to be bad people, or good people. If we like somebody, we don't really care for them.
It don't have nothing to do with being a bad person. Just because Shador go hang with his dad,
I don't think
he's a bad. They're not. I haven't heard anybody say. Even Nasir, I haven't heard him say Shador is a bad person because he hangs with his dad.
Not a bad person.
He's just questioning his dedication to football. And that's what happened when people see you out. They just question your dedication to football.
But that goes back to the individual more than the person they're questioning to me. Because number one,
I agree.
Who are you to be questioning me hanging out with my family? You know what I mean? I'm not breaking no laws. I'm not harming nobody. I do what I'm supposed to do, and I go home and I'm my business. You know what I mean? Something you said about John Moran, going back to him really quickly. I understood what they did. Like I said, he did get a warning. The first time it happened, you know what I mean? You got to
let him be himself.
They didn't.
They still don't want John Morant to be himself.
I think before everything happened with the guns, I didn't really see an issue with Ja, or maybe I missed it. I didn't really hear anybody talking about how he carried himself. I did hear people say things about him and his dad. Like his dad seemed like he's more of his friend than than a dad, and that's another conversation. But as it pertains to Ja, we were like super excited. The way he was jumping and flying over people, how explosive he is. We would focus more on that. Until the whole gun thing happened, and it kind of just went downhill from there. Now, I did not like him flashing the guns, although he didn't break any laws. He didn't harm anybody or whatever have you. The fact of the matter is that you're a brand and you are flashing guns, and we know how guns are.
That's who he wants to be. That's John Morant. Let him
but prior to that happening, we didn't think that about him. That wasn't the thought that we
had. You got no John Moran. I did.
What he showed to the public before that happened was not how we saw him.
He played the game to get in the door, and once he got in the door, he showed you who he really was.
And I'm just saying, I understood when they gave him a warning. He said he wouldn't do it. And then he got caught up again. So now you got to be suspended. I think it was 25 games, something like that. When it happened again. I understood it. Now you can look at it both ways, right? Because he didn't break any laws. He didn't hurt anybody. But it's a gun, and we know what guns represent. That's different from Shador.
In the state of Georgia, you can carry a gun without a license. Have it all out. We got 14, 15-year-olds out here with something AR-15s. And all that kind of stuff in the grocery store. They ain't got nothing to do with y'all. They got to do with the laws of your city and your state. Go talk to the governor if you got a problem with John Morant carrying guns.
The NBA is a whole different thing, and you are a brand. So if you're gonna be on there flashing,
go.
but that's not Shador's situation.
That's everybody's situation.
No, it's not, and I don't agree with that. If I saw Shador out with weed in his hand, knocking back some Hennessy,
yeah, but weed
is
illegal.
Then I'll be like, okay, Shador,
that's
like you can't do that. No,
right?
Not to drink. It's not.
Marijuana, depending on what state you're in.
Depending on what state you're in,
marijuana is illegal.
And I don't smoke or drink. You know what I mean?
Right,
but I'm just saying, even if I saw him at home doing it, I'd be like, Shador, that shouldn't be on your social media. That should be behind closed doors. Well, if he was playing with a gun, or mocking the gun or whatever, I'm like, Shador, you can't do that. Like, I understand that part. But if we're gonna condemn this young man because he went to go see his dad, or because he likes to be flashy in the end zone with a watch, there are like bigger things we can pick out.
Let me get this straight. So you saying that some people should be able to be themselves and some people shouldn't be able to be themselves? I don't think Ja flashing a gun is him being himself. To me, it just seems like it's an immature choice. That's Ja. He's a young kid. Like I was just telling you the other day.
But to me, flashing a gun is a choice. It's
25-year-olds are just as mature. 25-year-olds are the new 19, 20, 21. They immature. They don't do young people stuff. If you're in a city like Memphis, you ever been to Memphis?
No, I don't think that. I don't think that Ja flashing the gun is a representative of who he is as a person. I get that's how it can be taken. Because people are gonna get that.
You see, Ja hit the big shot. You see him hit the big shot, and he let you know. Ja come up the right. He even throw a grenade one day. I said, "Oh, look at Ja, Call of Duty."
I think Gil had said that like the day before. It was kind of funny. He did like right after. He's like, throw the grenade, like throw the grenade and hide it, like it was funny. And then he did
I'm like, that's funny. It's frowned upon, but that's Ja. That's who Ja is. I understand them. NBA got a shield to protect. They don't want Ja, and I would tell Ja the same thing I would tell Shador. I applaud you for being yourself, but understand that your role is going to be more difficult. Like you trying to be yourself.
I'm not going to put them in the same category because to me, Shador is not to me.
I would tell Tim Tebow the same thing.
Tim Tebow
football player, the best college football player ever.
But if Tim Tebow's biggest, and I wasn't a follower of him like that, but if his biggest thing was him talking about his faith, that's not a big deal to me. He's talking about
a big deal to you.
I just said that. I said to me.
But for the people of the NFL who determine whether or not he's gonna be in the NFL or not,
when it comes to
Tim Tebow, you're gonna make the road harder for yourself. It's better if you play the game.
When it comes to God, when it comes to your faith, I don't play with them things. I'm not gonna hide my love of my faith to make somebody else feel better. I'm not, because I got it. When I firmly believe when everything is over, like we got to answer. So I'm not going to turn my back on God because of how you feel about God, or you don't believe in Him. Like that's on you.
I ain't mad at Tim Tebow.
But I'm saying to me, I feel like I'm not going to lump them into the same category. Like somebody talking. I said, and I'm not. Somebody talking about God. Somebody flashing their jewelers in the end zone, and someone flashing guns are three very, very different things. They're not the same team at all.
The league looks at it all.
But we're not talking about the league. We're talking about people in the comments, not the league.
Yeah. But that's because, like he said, he old school. So he came up like he probably came up liking the way the league has been run. He used to the league being run a certain way for so long that he's not willing to adjust. That's what I get from that, because that's.
But I might have been talking about the series comes out. I'm saying
people,
like not him specifically.
A lot of people are old school in that way. I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, we saw Colin Kaepernick get banned from the game because he drew attention away from the league to put on his own cause that was commendable. I didn't watch football for a whole year, didn't watch Super Bowl or nothing, because I was around with Colin Kaepernick. I wish more people would have rolled with Colin Kaepernick and we would have bankrolled the NFL. But the people didn't do it. They sided with the NFL at the end of the day. Okay, fine. But Colin Kaepernick, whether it's Colin Kaepernick, whether it's Tim Tebow, whether it's Ja Morant, whether it's Shador, whether it don't matter. If you're drawing too much attention that goes away from the league and onto you, they frown upon that. And they don't care what it is. They don't care if it's about God, if it's about flashing, if it's about civil rights, if it's about guns. They don't care.
But we're not talking about the league having an issue with it. We're talking about people in the comments.
Unfortunately, a lot of fans, and just like the one in the comments, they always side with the owners and the league. I don't get it. I told you earlier, I don't have any loyalty to these owners because as a child I did, but then I grew up and I started to see things for as they were. Some people never can get out of the way of agreeing with the owners and seeing things the way the owners see it. And that's what we see with some of the people in the comments and some of these people who are naysayers. They see things the way the owners of the league see it. And they side with the owners every time. And I don't get it. At some point,
I feel like nowadays, I'm not talking about Nasir. I'm talking about in general standpoint. Like there are people like, for example, I use Angel Reese. I can make a post about Angel Reese. And people will leave comments, and I could tell you don't even watch her play because what you put in this comment couldn't be further from the truth if you actually watch her play.
Right.
If you look at what she did in her rookie year versus her second year, you could tell what area she made changes and what area she needs to currently work on. Like I could tell based on your comment, you were following what you saw somebody else say. I could tell you didn't actually watch it for yourself. So I'm talking about those kind of people. I'm not talking to Nasir. That's not a WNBA thing. It's not a NFL or NBA thing. That's you following people on social media and being a part of something and not thinking for yourself. And when it comes to people like Shador, not everybody, but some people, like as opposed to them watching him for themselves and making their own come to their own conclusion on if they like him or they don't, they want to support him or they don't, they follow other people. You know what I mean? And they pick out different things. So for me, it feels, for me, I can't ask somebody to not go out every now and then, and get a burger and some fries, because they're going to say, look at him eating that burger. He should have a salad and he should have a celery juice instead. He's not serious about the NFL. But that's just who Katja is though, I know everybody's different, but I feel like nowadays we're just too focused on this, like the cyberbullying. Like it's just like the amount of hate that Angel Reese gets is crazy to me. And some of it I will say, I'm sorry. Some of it I will say is on her, like for how like she's come across at times. Sometimes like, that's kind of rude, Angel. Like, don't do that. Right. But at the same time, like people call her, out of her name. I'm like, where do you really see her at? Do you see her out with men? No, not really. You see her clubbing? No, not really. Like you see her on her Instagram. You know what I mean? But it's her Instagram.
That's part of being a polarizing figure. That's just what I mean. As much as a lot of people love Caitlin Clark, a lot of people don't like Caitlin Clark either. So she's a polarizing figure. So
I don't think she is at all.
Oh yeah, she's very polarizing.
I don't see nothing polarizing.
I've worked on shows. Where one guy liked Caitlin Clark and the other guy he totally hates her because the other guy likes her and people like it's you either hate her or you like her. And
I don't hate.
No, I'm just saying, but she's such a polarizing figure that a lot of people like Caitlin Clark. A lot of people don't like Caitlin Clark. It's just what it is because, and same with Angel Reese. She's polarizing. A lot of people like Angel Reese. A lot of people don't like Angel Reese. A lot of people like Shador. A lot of people don't like Shador. A lot of people used to love Tim Tebow. Skip Bayless being the #1 guy for Tim Tebow. Had a song and everything for Tim Tebow when he came on the show. He really liked him. A lot of people liked Tim Tebow. A lot of people didn't like Tim Tebow. I mean, when you're a polarizing figure, that's just what it is. It's a lot that come with that. So you just gotta accept it. You just gotta understand who you are and try to drown out the naysayers.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm Black because I criticize and doesn't make me a hater. When you want the best for someone, you have to be highly critical for a greater outcome. And well, I didn't know if you were black or not. Honestly, I assumed you were because of your name, but I didn't know.
You don't know no white Nasir.
You know,
Stop playing.
Nowadays, you never know. People, but nevertheless, like I said, I didn't call you a hater. I do feel like some of your things, the comments that you made about Shador, Nasir, are it doesn't come across as one of the best for him. It feels very judgy. But that's just my personal opinion. Like you have yours about him. Like when you spoke about how he dresses, is that nature. Honestly, I feel like if Shador came out without any jewelry, they would still say something. I don't think
they would.
I don't think it would be like, oh, look at Shador. He's not wearing jewelry anymore. He's become more of a quarterback. I think they would still find, maybe not you personally,
Yes.
He's very clear, but I do feel like they're still going to find an issue with it. I do, So for me, I don't know what honestly he could do. I feel like even if he's even if he smiles, in an interview, and he gives the best, professional answers that a QB should be given, there's always going to be somebody who finds a flaw within it. So that's why I say, if he's going to go out and hang out with his dad, hang out with your dad. He's not hanging out at the club, drinking and smoking. For me, that shows somebody who's who's family oriented, and I think I like that. But that's just who Katja is. It depends on how you choose to look at things. And that's all. Right. What you want to say?
I think I don't think he's a hater. I think he's old school. Like he said, he comes from a different era of how people handle their business, especially on this stage. There's only one thing Shador can do to quiet the naysayers.
Ball out.
Win the Super Bowl. That's it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You gotta win the Super Bowl. You can't just ball out. You gotta go win the Super Bowl. You gotta win it all.
You gotta get a chance to play first. We gotta make some first.
There was a guy when I was coming up. He was a great basketball player. And he faced the same kind of stuff. He was very polarizing. And no matter what he did, there was something wrong with it. And then he ended up winning 6 NBA titles and multiple MVPs and 9-10 scoring titles. That's Michael Jordan. He went through the same thing these people went through, except for he won it all. And when he won it all, they say, man, that's how you supposed to do it. How he did it. He's the coolest guy ever. He can go gambling. They knew Michael Jordan was gambling. They knew that he had multiple women. They knew he was in Vegas. They knew he was doing everything. But once he won championships, they were like, well, hell, that's what he had to do to win. It's okay. Daddy got killed and all that. Hey, the man won championships. Whatever he want to do. But that's what you got to do.
But even with someone like LeBron, as successful as he is, some of the comments I read, I'm like, y'all, leave that man alone. Leave him alone. Like,
they can't leave LeBron alone because, unfortunately for LeBron, which I hate, because I think LeBron is the greatest basketball player of all time, up there, arguable with those other guys. But he's always getting compared to Jordan. That's the problem with LeBron. If there was no Michael Jordan and it was just LeBron, he wouldn't be faced with this criticism because everybody would be like, oh, he's the best thing since sliced bread. But they compare him to Jordan. So,
I think his image is a lot cleaner. But my thing, if you're looking for a flaw for someone, you can always find it.
Yes.
You can always find it.
That's what I'm saying with these polarizing figures, they always can find something that they can say, I got him on this. Look at him. He's hanging with his dad. He's out in Vegas. All right, but Dennis Rodman was wrestling during the NBA Finals. And then he went back in the game, he got 20 rebounds and played great defense, and they won a championship. All right, then they say, oh, well, that's just Dennis. But let Dennis not win any championship. He's just gonna be criticized. He's gonna be a clown. But you win 5 championships, they be like, oh, that's just Dennis. But let somebody else do the same thing Dennis Rodman do. He's gonna be criticized. He's gonna be dragged through the mud. Yeah, so you just gotta win. So I need Shador to just go out there and win a Super Bowl, and all this will go away. I need Angel Reese to go out there and win the WNBA title. Caitlin Clark, go out there and win the WNBA title.
Even if Angel Reese did win, they'll be like they'll find a way to discredit her. She won, but it wasn't because of her. She won. She wasn't even good. It was because
now she win MVP.
You know, like
if she wins the MVP of the WNBA Finals, they'll be like, oh, she that deal. She the best thing.
You might have some who might come over, but that especially if she wins before Caitlin Clark. They're gonna find something to say.
Well, yeah, they're gonna start comparing her. They're gonna start comparing her to Candace Parker. They're gonna start comparing her to other greats.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it goes. That's why it's the one of the best things. And I love Lamar Jackson. He's my favorite quarterback in the league. I love him and everything he do. But one thing that he has mastered, he knows how to stay out of sight, out of mind, because he understands. These folks ready to kill me. You got to win a Super Bowl. That's the expectation. You done won 2 MVPs. You arguably the best football player offensively in the game. If they saw Lamar out all the time, they would say, "See, this is why he ain't winning. See, this is why." So he does a good job of staying out of sight and out of mind.
Like I said, there's levels to it. Like somebody always hanging out, that's something different. But somebody going out every so often, seeing them once outside every few months, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, like. But that's
I don't see Joshua Tyler out of nowhere. I saw him get married. I saw him got married. I didn't see him nowhere. He out of sight, out of mind, because he's the same way. They did it with Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger, he used to like to party with the college kids and mess with the college girls.
But like I said, it depends on who you like. I mean, we saw Travis Kelce before he got with Taylor. We saw him hanging out. Didn't he have what was his reality show name when he was looking for love?
Yeah, he ain't the quarterback. I'm just saying,
but he is arguably the greatest. They said the greatest tight end, like at his position, right? I mean, depending on who you ask, you might feel differently, but that is a conversation.
Yeah, he in there.
He is still a very popular figure. So I'm saying, but we don't mind him. Going out, like I said, it depends on who the person is and how we feel about them. That's really what it all boils down to.
No, it boils down to what's your position you play. You're not a quarterback. Nobody care.
No, because when it comes to Caitlin Clark, for example, I can see Caitlin Clark getting the ref space, be disrespectful, and all kind of stuff. And it's like, well, go ahead, Caitlin. Hell yeah, because she takes a lot of this shit from the refs and all these different things. I understand her frustration. I'll be frustrated too. But if Angel does it, it's like, look at that thug behavior. Look what I'm talking about. She's ratchet. She's ghetto. Send her back to where she came from. All these different things. But it's the same kind of behavior. Not all the time, but in certain situations, the behaviors have been similar. And the way we look at it and how we defend it or how we speak against it depends on who it is. If it's Caitlin, it's viewed differently. If it's Angel, it's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
that's because people like Caitlin more than they do Angel.
I don't know. It depends on who you talk to. A lot of white. Okay, I say there's more white people in America than there are black people. So from that standpoint, Caitlin Clark got a lot more people that like her that dislike her. But I know a lot of black people that can't stand Caitlin Clark.
A lot of people don't like her because they're fans of Angel Reese, so they don't really like Caitlin.
Right. So I mean, but at the end of the day. When Larry Bird won that 3rd championship, even black people were like, shoot, that's a bad white boy right there. And he all right with me. Before that, it was like this white, because they were putting Larry Bird against Magic Johnson. It was the black guy superstar against the white superstar. They're like, this white boy ain't that good. This white boy, he getting favoritism. This white boy. When he won that 3rd championship, they were like, you know what? This white boy bad. This white boy is all right with me. And he became accepted in the hood. So Caitlin Clark go out there and win 3-4 championships. People be like, all right, she's just a good basketball player. Same with Angel Reese. She go out there and do what Candace Parker did. They're gonna accept her, and I was gonna have some critics.
I wasn't talking about
one still got critics.
I wasn't talking about their play. I was talking about how we view them as people.
Right. That's what I'm saying. How they view as people.
Because nowadays is what it goes by. Like If somebody's super talented, like I said, we have the whole cancel culture thing where
Right.
fans of somebody one day, they make one mistake
Right.
the next day. It's like, cancel him, don't buy the tickets, don't go to the tour,
Right.
don't get the clothes anymore. I'm taking my sneakers back. It's just, it goes so fast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, sometimes I'm saying, generally speaking, we have to keep in mind that although they are polarizing figures, they are still human beings. Like,
Yeah,
they
but it's the
still
thing.
go to the bathroom like we do. They
Yeah.
still shit, like they still take showers. Like, it's no different.
Unfortunately, once you step in that arena and you accept the oath and you accept the money that comes with the
Mhm.
oath, you end it. Deal
Mhm.
with it. I don't got no sympathy for none of these players that we talking about. I don't have no sympathy for Shador. I don't have no sympathy for Angel Reese, for Caitlin Clark, for Tim Tebow, and none of these people. Once you accept that oath and you took that money and stepped into that arena, this is what comes with it. It always has been. It always will be. You're not going to be the first athlete to be unfairly criticized. You're not going to be the last player to be unfairly criticized. You're not going to be the first to get too much credit. You're not going to be the last to get too much credit.
Mhm.
That's just how it goes when you accept the oath and you step into that arena. All right, you don't want to deal with it no more? Leave the game and go get a regular job and hang around regular people.
My thing is, we have one life. You know what I mean? You gotta, depending on what your profession is. But if you are a public figure, there is obviously certain responsibility that comes with that. You know what I mean? Especially if you're one of the really, really popular ones like Steph Curry or someone like that, right? But at the same time, you still got to find a way to, in my opinion, be Steph Curry, the one that we see on the court that we love and admire and adore and all these different things. But aside, there's still a real person in there. And you have one life to live. So you gotta do respectfully and legally, of course. You have to find a way to balance it, but still be true and happy with yourself. Because for me, I can't live my life according to what other people want me to do. I feel like when you start doing that, you end up having a whole bunch of like mental issues and different things within yourself, trying to appease other people because you're never going to appease everybody. And as long as someone is not breaking the law, they're not hurting anyone, I'm okay with it. Hold on, let me read this comment real quick. We got to hear y'all. We've been up here for a while. Let's see here. Have my receivers run the route tree and building chemistry helps the case for playing time, but flying private and kicking it on well-off media shows a lack of commitment. That's my 2 cents. But you were questioning his commitment before this happened. You were questioning. You were saying that you were talking about how he dressed before. So if he flew, he flew coach. No, he flew via Delta and he didn't go private. Would that make a difference?
Yeah, he can't do that. He too popular. He can't fly coach.
I mean, safety. Yeah, safety. For safety purposes, I don't think that would be wise. I'm just saying. But if he did, would that make a difference? Would you feel differently?
That wouldn't make a difference.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about his comment. I'm not reading the comment. You know what I mean?
I'm saying that doesn't make a difference to him either, because then it will be more people have their phones out and be watching him and be like, where he going?
And they might say, well, look at him flying regular for attention. That might be the conversation.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that you, Nasir, are saying that. I'm just talking about, if he did go that way, it would still be a conversation about something else.
It'd be a problem.
But in terms of him and the wide receivers, who's to say that they don't have any workouts, that they haven't worked out, that he has been trying to build chemistry with them? We don't know that. We don't. And I think it's unfair. Yeah, I think it's unfair to say because you see him hanging out with his family that means that he's not committed. Because a lot of people have families in the NFL.
It is unfair, but like I told you a few weeks ago, you got to trick the people. I'm
not doing all that.
That's the name of the game. Or else just deal with the criticism and don't.
You do have to learn to deal with it. Yeah, that's why I said you gotta. That's what I said. Like I said, as long as you're being respectful, you're doing what you need to do, and that you're doing. Everybody don't have to know. You know what I mean? But as long as you know that you're working out when you're supposed to, you're studying your film, you got your chef working on your nutrition, whatever it is. As long as you know that you're doing those things, then you just gotta do that and be happy and just say, God, take the rest, because
you gotta have thick,
what it is.
You gotta have thick skin,
that too. You definitely
because
have to,
people believe what they see. They don't believe what they know. They believe what they see. If I see a fat Zion, I'm saying, man, he ain't working out. He ain't dedicated to the game.
No,
He might be
he
pressing his ass off every day, but he going to eat some chicken, and maybe he got some hereditary stuff going on. We don't know. All we know is you ain't dedicated to the game.
Zion is the wrong example to you.
I'm saying people believe what they see. We don't get to follow Zion around. All we know is, man, you fat and you stay hurt. So this must mean you're not dedicated to the game. It might not be that might not be the case at all, but that's what people see. So that's what people tend to believe. That's why you got to trick the people. You got to trick the paying customer to believe that you're doing everything that they're going to live their regular life. They're working hard, a 9-to-5 job. They got to pay bills, and they're using a little bit of money they got left over for you to pay your $20 million, $50 million, $100 million salary. They need to believe that you're doing everything that they need you to do to win these football games. And if they see anything that shows them otherwise, then they're gonna say he ain't working hard. And it might be the furthest thing from the truth, but that's what they see. So you know, it is what it is. That's the game you signed up to.
Like I say, live your life, y'all. We got one. Unless you believe in reincarnation, all those different things, but we got one. Okay, like we got one. Enjoy it. Be happy. Because you got to be happy. If you're miserable, when you're sitting at home unhappy and everything else, then it's not really worth it. You know what I mean? No matter what job you have in this world. At least that's just how I feel about it. But you guys,
a lot of fans.
I'm gonna give you the last word. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, a lot of fans can't accept the fact that everybody who plays sports don't play to be great. Everybody who plays sports don't play to win a championship. Some people just play to get a check, to take care of their family, and go home. They're not in it the way that you want them to be in it. So you gotta understand that too.
That's true. Yeah, everybody doesn't want to win championships. Some people they just fine being just a guy. Fine with coming out off the bench and getting 5-6 minutes of playing time, and then going back home. Like I said, you're absolutely right. Everybody doesn't have the same mindset for greatness and and what they want to achieve, and that's okay.
There's a lot of sacrifice to be great. That's why I celebrate great players, because I understand the sacrifice that you have to make to be great. You might have to lose your family. You can't see your father. You missing your kids. You're not going to graduation. You didn't see your daughter go to prom. You didn't see your kids take their first steps. You and your wife, you don't see, Tom Brady told him, I want to play one more year. Let's just get divorced. I got to play this one more year. I appreciate Tom Brady for ruining his life, for ruining his family, for my entertainment pleasure. I appreciate Jerry Rice for losing your wife so you can go catch another 300 balls. Pause. Like, I understand what great player Michael Jordan, the things he sacrificed so that I can see him win 6 championships. I gotta give them all the respect because they sacrificed it all to be great. And I don't knock no player for not willing to sacrifice the things that those guys sacrificed to be great. I can't do it. It's a lot that you have to sacrifice. And a lot of players don't want to make those sacrifices.
And my thing is, to me, like, when it's all said and done, I hope that you made the right decision. Like, you're okay. Should I say you're okay with the decision that you made? Because, like, for example, I use what's his name, actor. He's a lot older now. Michael Douglas. Obviously huge actor. Resume is long, accomplishments are out off the charts. But I forgot his son's name. He spent some time in trouble with the law. You know what I mean? I forgot his son's name. But I remember him saying in the interview that
Kirk Douglas.
Yeah, Kirk. There you go. I remember him saying. I remember him saying, like, if he could do it over again, like, he wish he had been more of a present father. Like, he wish he had spent more time. Yeah, Fatal
Right.
Attraction. That Michael Douglas right there.
Michael Douglas was great.
So that's why I say, like, for Tom Brady, we don't really know how he feels about losing his family. Like Giselle was like, I'm out. Like I gave you enough time. We discussed this, and I don't have no more to give. But he left a year later. Maybe he feels okay about the decision. Maybe he's like, man, I shouldn't have did that. We're not going to know because he's not going to tell us.
Right.
I'm just saying, whatever choice that they make, to leave their families or not be present for their families or whatever, as long as, like I said, it goes back to you. When 5 years from now, 10 years from now, as long as you're okay with the decision that you made, that's all that matters, because you got to be true to you.
Yeah, I don't care how they feel about it. I'm glad they did it for my entertainment pleasure. I know Michael Jordan, I know you son on cocaine and he be out at the cafe snarling a line. If you would do something different, maybe he wouldn't be snarling a line. But I don't care. You gave us 6 championships. I appreciate you ruining your kids' lives for my entertainment pleasure.
That's wild.
I know that sounds bad, but
it does.
but in order to be a great player, you have to make great sacrifices. And this is why I hold great players up so high. Them other players, I ain't mad at you if you don't want to be great, because I understand what it takes to be great. I would tell you, just get your money, man. Be happy to take care of your family. But if you choose to go for greatness, I gotta applaud you, because you made great sacrifices to be to be considered an all-time great. Look at Barry Bonds. I can keep going down the list. These guys made great sacrifices.
Yeah, you can. You don't keep me up all night though while you go down this list.
Right, exactly. There's been a lot of great players.
Oh my God. All right. You guys, look, y'all have no idea how much I need this conversation. For me personally, you guys, because life be lifing. But this is a good conversation for me. I appreciate your time as always. Nasir, although we may not agree on the Shador Sanders topic, I appreciate you. You've been here pretty much every single Monday. You stayed throughout the whole conversation always. You engaged in the conversation, so I appreciate you. Everybody who came through, Mel, my mom was in the chat a little while ago. I don't know the other girl's name. I think her name is Aviv Aria. I hope I'm butchering your name. Please forgive me if I am. Appreciate you. Anybody who came through, I appreciate you guys and your support. I'm gonna let you close it out, but we have the last words.
Oh, I mean, it was a good show. I appreciate you having me on. Like always, follow me at One Man Cave on all platforms. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you next weekend. Hopefully we can chop it up again.
Yes, you guys. We might as well make this a regular thing. We're here pretty much every Monday. So
right.
just be tuned in every Monday, for the rest of the season. That's just how it's gonna go, you guys. All right, everyone, have a wonderful night, blessed night. Great week ahead. Be safe. All right, you guys. That's what's most important. Be safe and be happy. Be happy. Be you. Okay. Yeah. Take that away from this conversation tonight. Be you, if nothing else. All right, y'all. Good night.